Today, is the M1NT G1 card case worth $1,000? Some Bedard Hidden Gems, the most graded hockey set years ever, and a whole lot more. Welcome back to episode 380 of the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast, presented by our good friends at Upper Deck.
It's your friendly neighborhood hockey-loving goofballs. Welcome to the Gong Show.
Hello, happy family. Hello, goofballs. This is a rare event. We're the four of us.
Hey.
Four gongers, I guess, as we call ourselves.
Well, 3 gongers and 1 D-Gen.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
California Dave. Now, sometimes you do like pot shot visits on the podcast when you're all itchy and twitchy because a new product's out and you just got to talk about it. But you're going to be along for the full ride today. So welcome. Glad to have you.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Anything to report to the hobby, Baba Louie or Phil? Any major life events? Any drama? Do we need to talk or no?
I got an awesome poster I can have up for the next 4 years.
Oh, yeah.
It's great.
Well, until you redecorate next week, and then it looks a little bit.
It'll come down.
Louise redecorated every day for the last 10 years. So
You call that redecorating?
Well, I will say, like, every single episode, the background has been tweaked just a little bit. And so part of the fun is to see what the background of Louis is going to be like for an episode, because it's always different.
Just wait.
Yeah.
I got something else coming, though. Yes.
Louis gets the equivalent daily Amazon packages of about 9 women. Because he's always, there's frames, pictures. How many different photos and frames in the past 2 months have you done on your basement, including, Louis, don't forget, redoing the same picture multiple times?
Oh, and you know what? I took all those pictures out of those frames, and those frames are like up over here now somewhere.
Yeah, so
that's why you're Optimizer Prime. You're
what it's going to be like next time.
No, I had a picture in a frame. I left it. I made 4 more, put them in frames, decided I didn't like them, took the pictures out, and decided to make a few more. I didn't get them printed, but I have them ready. Yeah.
I rest my case. Philip, anything to report, or do we want to just talk about the big Friday Nights of Phil tomorrow with you and your boy, California Dave?
We can do both. I've had an amazing, incredible Thursday. If we pretended it was Wednesday, because the Sens won 2 days ago, yesterday. And they schlubbered the Detroit Red Wings. And whenever my Sens play a good game and we win, the day after is so awesome, because I can consume all NHL content and not avoid it. So I'm very happy.
How about that Kale Yakimachuk?
Yakimchuk. He almost had a Gordie Howe hat trick. He had an amazing assist. Phenomenal. Go check it out if you haven't. Great goal. And almost got in a fight, but he didn't. So that's good. He's a big kid, very confident, and we've marinated him very well in the minor leagues. And a lot of people all year wanted him to come up. I was one of them. I'm very glad there are professionals in the league that know what they're doing. And we didn't Curtis Lazar him. We didn't bring him up too early and ruin his game. And I know it's just one game, but what a debut. And I'm very happy. Nice. Larkin almost scored like 9 times. I was terrified. I mean, he popped one in, but he didn't get the other 8. Yeah, what a player, man. He's so good, and I cannot stand him. But he's excellent. So my Sens were great. I'm very excited for Friday. Dave, I think we have a couple of Minnesota ladies.
That's right. We got the Minnesota Wild women coming on to the show. So that'll be fun.
Yeah,
it's
I don't know
like
much
the Josh and Louis opposites, right?
Yeah. I don't know much about them, but I'm curious to ask a lot of questions, see what they're up to, and it'll be fun. They know their hockey, and we'll have lots of questions, and hopefully they'll have funny and good answers.
Yeah, should be fun.
All right, a lot to get to, but before we do, just a quick reminder that our show, this show, the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast, is a Patreon podcast. What that means is that we do rely on the support of the good listener and good watcher like yourself to help us cover our show expenses, produce more, and what we hope to be better hockey card content. Always a goal here. And then fun initiatives, even in a small way, to grow the hockey hobby. You can support us for as little as $5 a month. Be one of the first 999 supporters of our show. You get the Future Watch Gonger title. You get access to the Gong Show Discord, 400-ish or so people in there now. Lots of stuff going on there. daily posts, people sharing their personal pickups. We have our Discord exclusive show, Behind the Bench, with our boy IFC, aka Expo Mom, aka Neil, who we actually just did a public every month or so. We put one of his episodes live on the Gong Show YouTube channel, where he talks about optimizing your PC. So you can check out, get a little preview of that show there. If you want to support us, just go to our website, hockeycardsgongshow.com, and click on the Become a Patron link at the top of the page, or go to Patreon directly, patreon.com, and search for us at Hockey Cards Gong Show. There is a link in the show description in both the YouTube and podcast apps, and in our Instagram and TikTok profiles too. Baba Louie, we have 2 new patrons since our last show. Can you please give them a heartfelt and emotional thank you?
Well, the first one I thank emotionally is JJ.
Janet Jackson.
Maybe.
Janis Joplin. Maybe.
Yeah.
Following him emotionally, I will welcome and thank Hitman.
Ooh. Yeah. JJ and Hitman.
If you
Welcome
need
to the
someone
crew.
hired. Eesh.
Both in Discord, so glad to have them there. Okay, Louie, what's the game plan? We'll get started.
Game plan is starting off with get to know your Hall of Famers. Then it'll be Connor Bedard Hidden Gems. After that, we get into some hobby news. Then we have a little chat about this $1,000 card case and an interview. Following that, it's new product releases, and we close with personal pickups.
Thank you, Louie. Let's get cooking with our Get to Know Your Hall of Famers series. It's where we're profiling every hockey Hall of Famer, like all 400 of them or something like that. It's a tall task, but we're hockey card journalists, and we were made for this, boys. We were made for it. We started with the first Hall of Fame class in 1945, have since been working our way to the present day. Today's Hall of Famer we're going to learn more about is Cooney Weiland.
I would
I got
definitely pronounce his name wrong, probably.
Well, how would you pronounce it, Dave?
Wayland?
I would say like Cooney Weiland or something like that. I would
Cooney
definitely pronounce it wrong.
Yeah, we.
I think it's like, I don't know if it's like Wayland Enterprises in the
Wayland, maybe.
Alien trilogy.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's spelled. I'm a bad fanatic. I don't know the spelling of it.
My problem is I try to pronounce every single letter, and most names you don't. And so
Yeah.
I think it's
that's my
Wayland, right? Like what? Isn't there a Cooney
Weiland,
Island?
Yeah, Weiland, maybe it might be. I could my screw that. I did, for the record, I did watch a couple YouTube videos, and I think they said Weiland because I get paranoid, especially when you have to say the name 45 times,
Mm-hmm.
and then people get annoyed and are like, "Dude,
Well, they get personal. I mean, like the guy would have killed
Yeah.
your puppy dog if the Beckett Seneca guy. My goodness, eh?
oh, yeah.
Holy moly! You can tell the people that have a hobby or not. I guess I don't know, man. That guy went
My
hard.
first
at
one
you
is
guys.
I had this like disability for the first 100 episodes of our show where I called Andrea Vasilevsky for some reason, and I knew it, but I just couldn't stop doing it. Then there's the Beckett Seneca, which I called Seneki. There's a few more too that were pretty brutal, but that's kind of our brand. I mean, if you can pronounce a name right, you shouldn't be on this show.
Definitely.
That's
And
what
I
I
fit
think.
right in.
Ralph. True story. My dad wanted to name me Ralph.
You kind of look like a Ralph.
Stop.
He could be around.
You
That's
do.
me.
You totally do.
That's
you
me.
look like. I feel like I look like a Ben. I feel like Benjamin could be me.
You
I don't
do
like the
not
name.
look like a Ben.
No, I thought. I always thought I
You
did.
look like a
Maybe- what about
Lester.
like Stavros?
You're more of a Lester.
No, I'm not Lester, dude. Don't hate me.
Lester.
Don't hate me
Can we
because
just
I've
start
lived a
calling
big life.
people Lester from now on?
What did that
I
suck?
want-
He would be so mad. Welcome back to the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast. My name is Ralph. I'm here with Lester
love-
and Dave.
Yeah, I love how the
Probably.
virgins are making fun of me. Okay, I'll be Lester all you want, guys.
Yeah, all the married virgins here in the one single
Yeah,
guy.
well, I think you people know what I meant.
Okay. Ralph Cooney Weiland, something, lived from 1904 until passing away at the age of 80 in 1985. Born in Egmondville, Ontario, but died in Boston. Cooney was left shot center, played at 5'7", 155 pounds, and during a playing career that lasted from 1925 until 1939, Weiland played for 3 NHL teams, the Boston Bruins, the Ottawa Senators, and Detroit Red Wings. He was a 2-time Stanley Cup champion, the NHL scoring champion in 1929-30, was named one of the Bruins' 100 greatest players of all time for their centennial. And in 509 career NHL games, scored 173 goals, added 160 assists for 333 points. In the postseason, he played in 45 games, scored 12 goals, totaled 22 points. And after Cooney's playing career ended, he became a longtime coach, won a Stanley Cup with the Bruins as a coach in 1941. And then for like 21 seasons, coached Harvard from 1950 until 1971. So very iconic player, NHL coach,
game.
and collegiate coach here in the United States. Why you should care about Cooney Weiland. He grew up in Seaforth, Ontario, then broke through in junior hockey with the Owen Sound Greys, where he became the club's top scorer, helped drive them to the 1924 Memorial Cup Championship, so also a Memorial Cup winner. Before he ever became an NHL star, spent 3 seasons in Minneapolis. Oh.
That's where you're from. You're from there.
Yeah, okay. There right now. Sharpening his game with the Millers and building the offensive confidence that would carry him into the big league. When Boston brought him into the NHL in 1928-29, he stepped into a Bruins team still chasing its first championship and fit in quickly, scoring 11 goals and 18 points as a rookie. That year ended in storybook fashion. Weiland helped the Bruins win the first Stanley Cup in franchise history in 1929. Early in Boston, he centered the famous Dynamite line with JJ
And the Hitman?
No, the Good Times guy. Dynamite.
Oh yeah. Or there was like a white kid in like Columbia University like 20 years ago. He goes, boom, that goes the dynamite.
Boom.
Remember that?
Yeah,
Boom
yeah.
goes the dynamite. Yeah.
Boom goes the dynamite.
Early in Boston, he centered the famous Dynamite line with Dit Clapper and Dutch Gaynor, one of the Bruins' first great forward trios and one that quickly became central to the club's rise. We're so stupid.
I know.
In 1929-30, the NHL relaxed its forward passing rules, and the change seemed built for Cooney's game. He exploded offensively and turned from very good player into full-on star. That season, he scored 43 goals and 73 points in 44 games, leading the NHL in both goals and points. His 73 points did more than win the scoring race. They smashed Howie Morenz's previous single-season record of 51. So think about that. The all-time high in a season to that point was 51, and he put up 73.
Wow.
Giving Weiland one of the most important offensive record seasons of hockey's early NHL era. Boston was overwhelming that year, finishing 38-5-1, and Cooney was right at the center of it as the Bruins put together a 14-game winning streak that stood as a benchmark for decades. During that same magical season, he authored one of his signature outbursts by scoring 4 goals in a 7-0 win over Pittsburgh on February 25th, 1930. He also strung together a 14-game point streak in 1929-30, piling up 31 points over that run and showing that his big season was not a fluke burst but sustained domination. Even with all that firepower, the Bruins' repeat bid ended painfully when Montreal swept Boston in the 1930 Stanley Cup Final, a reminder that one of Cooney's greatest personal seasons still finished with unfinished business. He followed that historic year with another strong season in 30-31, scoring 25 goals, 38 points, then adding 6 goals and 9 points in 5 playoff games, proving his 29-30 breakout was no one-year wonder. By 1932, though, his relationship with Bruins boss Art Ross had deteriorated badly enough that Boston broke up the Dynamite line and traded Weiland away.
Oh.
He landed in Ottawa and immediately became the Senators' top offensive player, leading them in scoring in 1932-33 with 16 goals and 27 points. Ottawa's financial problems, shocking, during the Great Depression changed the course of his career again.
Yes.
Because the struggling Senators were forced to sell him after that run. In Detroit, Weiland found his game again with skilled line mates Larry Ory and Herbie Lewis. You're a big Herbie Lewis guy, aren't you, Dave? Herbie Lewis?
Isn't it Huey Lewis in the news?
No, it's Huey Lewis in the news, but his uncle Herbie, I think. I don't know. And produced his best numbers since his first Boston peak. In the 1933-34 split between Ottawa and Detroit, he still reached 32 points in total, then followed with 38 points in 48 games for Detroit's 34-35 season, showing he remained a top offensive center even after the blockbuster trade drama. He helped Detroit reach the 1934 Stanley Cup final, meaning that within a relatively short window, he skated in a cup final with Boston and then another one with the Red Wings. One neat thread in his career is that when he played for Detroit, one of his teammates was Teddy Graham, an old teammate from the 1924 Owen Sound Grays Championship Club. So, small world. In June 1935, Art Ross and Weiland repaired the relationship enough for Boston to bring him back, giving him a second Bruins chapter after the earlier split. Back in Boston, he was no longer the same explosive scoring force from 1930, but remained a valuable and versatile veteran who could still help strong teams, first rejoining old combinations and later adapting into more of a utility role. His leadership standing became official when he served as the Boston's captain from 1937 to 39, a major sign of how respected he had become inside the organization despite the rocky middle chapter. On December 14, 1937, he scored 2 goals in 19 seconds against Toronto, a burst still listed among the fastest 2-goal runs by one player in NHL history. His playing career became full circle in 1938-39 as Boston's captain. In his final NHL season, he helped the Bruins win their second Stanley Cup, ending his career the same way it began in Boston with a championship. So he won the Cup in his first year and his last year. And it's so interesting that you would have loved to maybe been a fly on the wall that he had such a... Art Ross was like the grand poobah of the Boston Bruins. And at one point, Cooney and him had such a bad relationship, he traded him away. And then he comes back and Art Ross makes him the captain of the team. And then the coach, after he retires, he ended up replacing Art Ross as the coach of the team.
Well, Art Ross he's a heavyweight hitter in the small circles of NHL history and lore. I mean, Art Ross would have had a massive amount of pull and in decision making. No shade on Mr. Weiland. It's Weiland in the Alien series. It just hit me. But anyways, back to hockey. Do you think he had a big influence on getting Cooney in there now? Because it sounds like they were pretty close, right? Like I'm best friends with a couple of guys I fought with. and when you've been through a lot with another human being, that really tugs on the heartstrings. So I'm not saying Mr. Cooney here hasn't had incredible accomplishments. But maybe Mr. Ross helped pull that in a bit, good old boys club. I know that's not really common in hockey to have a good old boys club, but I've heard it happens once in a while.
I think I'm calling it Weiland because remember Stone Temple Pilot Scott Weiland? Didn't he spell his name the same way? Weiland?
I don't know. I was a sour girl.
The day that she met me. Hey.
Do you think part of the reason why he was inducted to the Hall of Fame, because you kind of, he's got some really cool accolades.
Builder. I think he's a builder.
But do you think I look at someone who had like a really good career, maybe he's on the fringe and then he has a long coaching, career. And that's what kind of like gets you to the next level to throw you in
hockey,
there.
Right. Like he's
right. Because maybe if he never became a coach, he never made the Hall of Fame. But
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
Well, he was inducted as a player, and coaches are inducted as builders.
Oh, then I'm wrong.
But that being said, though, when somebody's voting or nominating someone, it's hard. You can't completely separate what they did after their playing career. So I think, technically, you're only supposed to be inducted for your accomplishments as a player. I would bet that some of that rubs off.
All the more reason maybe my little theory makes a bit more sense, right?
Yeah, maybe.
The Art Ross influence.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Cooney Weiland's rookie cards in the 1933 hockey card sets. The first one we'll look at is 1933 V129 Anonymous, card number 24. The PSA 8 actually pictured, crazy nice card, is a high-selling copy sold for $6,000 in October 2021. The next rookie card is from the 1933 O-Pee-Chee Series A, card number 27. The high-selling copy is a green background version and a PSA 7. The highest public sale, it sold for $1,232 US in June of 2014. Next rookie is a 1933 Worldwide Gum Ice Kings, Card number 65, SGC5, high sound copy, sold for $575 US in September 2024. There are a few other Playing Days cards. I just picked one to highlight. The 1937 V 356 Worldwide Gum. It's card number 69.
Yeah.
PSA 7 high sound copy. This would be with Ottawa. It looks no, that's probably Boston, I think. Sold for $1,675 US in November of 2021. That, boys, is your Hockey Hall of Famer, Cooney W.
Yeah, let's stick with W.
Maybe that's how I should start doing all my videos. I'll just
No, you are in a different category than Josh and I. You need.
Well, I
you,
know.
You are.
It's
There's
cute.
Josh and Phil like mediocre. I'd even put Louis in there too. Dave, I can't see you. Where's Dave?
no. It's so bad.
It's
Every
entertaining.
Yeah,
Every
sure.
time this happens, I think, Self, you spent like 2 hours researching the guy. Maybe you could have like spent 10 more minutes and learned how to say his name, but
It's okay. It's good.
You got
It's
it.
good. It's content. That's what we say, right?
One of the
It's
times you pronounced his name was correct.
I'm sure. I'm just gonna say it every way possible.
Yeah.
Then
I'll
you
be
can't
using
say I
safe
got it wrong every time.
W, just like you're a teacher in a class.
Ralph W. We'll just call him Ralph W.
Did you guys ever have? Well, Dave, you guys have common names. Did you ever have two of the same name in the class, and they would just say the initial of your last name? You know, like Josh M to the front of the class, please.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I never had another Philip in the class. I think I'd be devastated if I did.
Really?
Yeah, probably. There can only be one of me. I don't want two loud people in a room. I don't know what to do.
Isn't there a
Either-
Philip in South Park?
Well, there's Stan Marsh, and my last name's Marsh.
Yeah.
So there's Terrence and Philip.
Terrence and Philip.
the
Yeah.
Canadians. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
that's
they were
me.
Canadian too.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
It's so funny. It's so. I'm really getting back into South Park too these days. It's so good, man.
On Monday's mailbag, we got a question from somebody that said, "Where is the Connor Bedard Hidden Gems?" And sometimes here on the show, you ask and ye shall receive. So I approached the task in this way. I wanted to find a handful or half dozen Connor Bedard rookies that might be a little bit under the radar. Who knows? You guys will probably make fun of me and tell me they're not. And also that are reasonably affordable, like at a level where most of us could get one. Maybe we'd have to save up for a month or two, but if you really wanted a nice card, that would be generally in reach. And so with that being said, I only considered options that have recent sales under $600 US. I don't know why I picked that number. Don't ask.
That's good. It's achievable. You said it. It's graspable.
Mm-hmm. So I found actually 6 under 600 kind of worked. It fit. And we'll go through them right now. The first one I think we've talked about before, but I just think is such a good, maybe under the radar card for some that it's worth mentioning again. And it's the 2023 Allure Gold Glitter Bomb out of 199. Big fan of this card. I think it's year after year, if not the best, one of the best Allure parallels. It's kind of like the Seismic Gold. Well, it's the cousin of the Seismic Gold because Allure is a chromium set. O-Pee-Chee Platinum is a chromium set. And it's just sort of very consistent. And I think also has the potential down the road. Who knows? No crystal ball, but could be a more significant card as time goes on and the set becomes more popular.
You're not on the same hill of comparing to Seismic Gold, which is out of 50,
No.
by the way. Okay. Just want to make sure.
Yeah, this is out of 199. So it's right at that. I've always considered, like I talk about the red prism in Platinum 2, it's the very line, in my mind, it's the line between still rare enough where it's interesting of a parallel, but not too much, too many, like permanents too high. You get to 299 and I don't really, or 399, I lose interest in that card over the long term. I don't know, it's the marginal line in my mind of like where I stopped getting interested in parallels.
I remember when Billy was talking about deciding what the print run was for these, they specifically did 199 because they knew the design was so great that they wanted to be still rare and a chase, but they didn't want it to be like a 50 or a 25. And it was really hard for people to get their hands on. So I think the reason why they chose that number is just so they could get it to more people. And when you hold one of these gold glitter bombs in hand, they're awesome. So
Two things. I think that was a mistake. My opinion. I think it should have been out of 50 because then that's similar in theme for the upper deck ecosystem.
Okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
50 is a good number and it's attainable. It's not 10, it's not 25, it's 50. And seismic golds, everyone still has a chance. I feel I have taken my foot off the gas pedal a little bit on this because it is 199. And here's the second. It looks too close to the there's
Confetti.
another one. Confetti. Oh, I don't know if it's the confetti.
Yellow Taxi too. Confetti and Yellow Taxi are very similar. But
thank you.
I
Yellow
think you're
Taxi. I was
both
going to
right.
say Tracks, but that's platinum. But Yellow Taxi. And even the problem with this year, which is one of the best years, every year is great except the first one. They're too nice. The base cards are phenomenal, right?
They are.
But there's something about this gold glitter bomb of this year. Josh this is an excellent pick. Fully get behind it.
Very affordable too. The raw copies sell for about 120 now USD, and this last PSA 10 sale 360 USD. Not bad for a Bedard rookie and a nice card. And they don't sell super. You're right. You can probably get one any day of the week, but they're available, I should say, at all the time, but they don't sell super often. So since the set was released in card letter sales history, there's been 49 public sales of both graded and raw, which I'd say means that collectors hang on to them more often than not.
What would a good comparable be? So Crosby, let's say, we'll even say McDavid in 2014 and 2015, 16, there was definitely some cards that weren't even numbered of his rookie year that people in 2019, 2020 were like, man, whatever. That's a common card, but it was his rookie, right? Think, good listener, I implore you to think in 10, 15 years, will this card only be $100, $150? It's a Connor Bedard rookie card. It's numbered. It's at a 199. And how many Olympics will he have played in by then? Maybe 2, right?
Yeah.
This card financially, I think, is a no-brainer to creep up slowly but surely.
You don't know what the gem rate is on this card, do you?
Me? No clue.
No, Josh.
Oh,
I know, Phil, you wouldn't know.
On these
I'll go
cards, it's
check.
going
I'll
to
be right
come
back.
down to like surface and print lines.
Yeah,
and
that's
that'll be
what I'm
the
saying.
big-
Like if there's only like 5 copies of a PSA 10, that could be a real steal
point,
at that
Dave. Yeah.
price.
Entrepreneur,
If these are very hard to grade. Now, if the gem rate's like 50, 60%, then, price accordingly. But
Do we need to pause the show, Dave, so you can buy the card before this?
Yes, I think it's a yes. Yeah, I have 4 of them.
The shakes are coming.
I'm actually interested to see what all your hidden gems are, because today I purchased a rookie card of Bedard, and I'm gonna see if it made the hidden gems. So
Would you
I
get
would be
Tell us?
shocked.
let's wait and we'll see.
Okay.
And then I'll tell you
5
after.
more. Okay.
Yeah, 5 more.
Okay.
I went with it. Now, I don't collect autos, but I pushed myself to pick 2 autos because I know a lot of people love them. The first auto that I picked is from 2023 Ultimate Collection Ultimate Introductions. I think it's a really nice looking card. But the main reason I did, and actually with the other auto I picked, spoiler alert, to find a Bedard rookie on-card auto of a good-looking card in the $500 range, there's not many of them.
No bueno.
It's just tough to find. And I really think this is a nice looking card. And again, it's an on-card auto. And that's sort of the reason why I picked it. Now, they're not numbered, but to hit a Bedsy is like 1 in 305 boxes. So 1 in 19 cases. Last sale was a raw copy for $528 US on March 15th. And so, yeah. I don't know,
They
I just
have
like
the
card.
odds for this card, for hitting this card?
It's pack odds. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Got it. It's not like short print is what I'm saying. Like his
They moved to that in 2024.
Oh, okay. So everyone
Everyone
level.
had the same odds, and
Got it.
all the rookies in this one. So
Have you boys seen these Ultimate Introductions in hand? They're sharp cards. They're
Yes.
pretty sharp.
I think I hit one when I opened a box of Ultimate, if I recall.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a few auto versions.
Oh, we know,
of the
Dave.
card.
You've hit many. We know. I'm surprised you don't have this card. You didn't hit it in your box.
I did not hit this one. That would have
Okay.
been great. Although I did hit a rookie Bedard auto, and I could not sell it any faster because
Next card.
2023 O-Pee-Chee Platinum NHL Shield variation raw. Now, again, these are not numbered; they're ratioed. There's only 5 players on the checklist. Any one of the 5 is 1 in 288 overall pack odds, which means to hit the Bedard would be 1 in 1,440 packs, so fairly rare.
I thought it was way more rare than that. I guess not, eh?
Nah, not too rare. I just think they're cool looking cards. And as you like to say, Phil, this is a card that I think makes your eyes happy.
It
The
does.
NHL Shield is the coolest logo in sports. It will always look cool on a card. They're not super cheap, but you can get raw copies for around $500. And I just never think this card will not be cool looking down the road.
Very good
Yeah.
choice. Fully will get behind this one as well. Yeah.
All right, 3 more left. The next one, I'm becoming a big fan of these. Oh, I am.
No, it's all
The 2023 EX2000, it's the exceptional, and it's a rookie. This is the cousin of the Jambalaya. It is a throwback design. It's not a new design. So there are exceptionals date back to 1999 in basketball cards. As an example, a Kobe Bryant green out of 500 graded PSA 10 just sold for $8,100 US a couple months ago. There's also football versions of exceptional from 2000 sets. And within 2023, the EX2000 set, these were in insert. EX2000, of course, is one of the most beloved and cherished sets in all the hobby, as we know. There's 30 players on the checklist, only 3 rookies, Bedard, Leo Carlsson, Adam Fantilli. Pack odds to hit any of the 30 players are 1 in 576, meaning that to hit a Bedard and would be in 1 in 17,280 packs. And because so much of it'll never get open, it'll be really rare. There's probably only a few of it out there. Now, one thing you have to know is that all the pack pulled exceptionals are veterans or the 3 rookies. There are a bunch of legends. Those were an EPAC achievement.
Okay.
But if you like Jambalaya, I have one of these, and they are amazing in hand. They are really, really cool.
What makes it amazing? Is it? I'm not being a jerk. Is it? You know how Jambalaya's got kind of that
3D element. Yeah, same thing.
Okay,
same thing.
Okay.
Super cool. Only 6 Bedards have sold publicly, and I couldn't find a single one that is available for sale right now. Last one that sold was raw in February for $256 US. So
that's strong.
Not too bad.
Yeah. This is
a Josh card, but you know.
Yeah, well, we knew when you were going to do this segment that EX2000 would find a way into it for sure.
Yeah.
So
I might have the last laugh. You guys, I'm going to throw a big giant parade at the expo. It's called Josh's Last Laugh. There'll be
I have
not mean you're going to die.
I have not seen one of these get pulled ever. Like every video I've ever watched of EX2000, I've never seen one of these.
And how many?
I've seen it.
How many of those are online, Dave? 6, 7? What are you talking about? I've never seen one here. You've never watched a break from beginning to end of this pack. No way. Don't believe you. Nope.
No, I have. I watched Josh open a case.
I opened a case and my fingers hurt.
I watched him open a case and pull nothing.
Nobody has watched somebody open a case of this set. No, I don't think so, boys.
Josh's hands are bleeding after it because there's only 2 cards per pack. So he's just like, at the end, he's like looking for someone to open the packs for him.
Okay, maybe you did. I'm sorry. Maybe you did. I take it all back.
You guys are talking out of your butts right now. I just the other day looked up a couple of the big cards I hit out of that case, and they do very well. I just gonna say
the double helix. That's all I can think of. What other card is there? The double helix. That's it.
The essential credentials. I've got a Bedard that's numbered that sells very well. I have an Ovi that's out of 50. I think.
You mean the essential credential that looks like the base card?
I'm
not making fun of you. I'm just asking. Is that
that's a parallel?
One, right?
It's a number parallel. Yeah.
Yes, but it's numbered.
Okay. Well, I'm happy you're happy.
Moving on.
Josh isn't as excited that we're not as excited about his card.
I knew you weren't going
You
to
get
be.
used to it by now. I know it. Oh, this
I'm just-
set always comes in somehow. I don't know.
When I cash in my Bedard Exceptional for like a 4,000-foot yacht someday, you can't come on it. You can ride in the dinghy.
Are you going to buy some cases from Grant? Because he'll sell them to you for super cheap, and you can hold on to them. If you believe in this product, like you
Put your
say
money
you
where your mouth
do,
is. Oh, yeah.
you should put your money where your mouth is and buy some cases and hold on to it.
I love
See what
Fleer
happens.
and Skybox. Okay. Next, we're going to stick with Skybox, but this one's a Metal Universe card. It's the Martin Sight insert from 23-24 Metal Universe. I don't know if you guys have any of the player cards for this.
No.
It's an amazing, like, again, sort of multi-dimensional card. I think I have Ovechkin and another player in my TLBG. But
Damn.
when you see these in hand, this is one of those cards you'll never get until you can experience it in your hand. So in hobby boxes of 23-24 Metal Universe, they're all veterans. So there were no rookies. And then Upper Deck did a 10-card rookie set as achievements in E-Pack, but they did 4 variations that are essentially just 4 different images of the player. And they had them in level 1, level 2, level 3, and level 4. I think the one we're looking at on YouTube is the level 4 Bedard rookie. So in some cases too, Upper Deck limits the amount of achievements cards that are available. So like it'll say on the E-Pack site that there was 200 that could be redeemed and 170 of them have or something like that. I think these were unlimited or not capped, but there's also not a ton of public sales because you have to complete, usually the E-Pack tasks to get the achievement are pretty tough. Of the 4 variations, there's only been 25 total public sales. So again,
That's it? Wow.
So there's 4 versions of this card. 4
Yeah.
Bedards.
level 1, level 2, level 3, and level 4. And you can go to the E-Pack site for 23-24 Metal Universe and go to the achievements tab and see what it takes. to
Is
get
one more
each of
rare
the-
than the other? Like you have to do more to get level 4
I don't think,
ones
I
than
don't
level
know.
1,
I
or-
looked and I got confused.
Okay.
So, and these typically sell for about 100 US, depending.
Oh, okay.
The different level 1 will be 100, level 4 will be 100. So maybe that answers your question, Dave. I
Okay.
don't know, but these cards are amazing. Like when we're at the expo, I'll show you some of mine, and I think you'll become a very big fan of the card.
Yeah.
Very
It looks cool just on screen. I'm also not familiar with this card. So
incredibly refracting.
yeah.
Oh, excellent.
Mhm.
Did you mention, I wasn't listening, how many other players are on this?
There's 10 rookies.
Okay.
So if you hit or if you got the achievement, you got the 10 rookie card set. So you'd get all 10, and then people piece them out and sell them individually. So you'd have
just have to-
Tilly and Leo Carlson and so on and so forth too.
You just have to combine a bunch of cards to get the achievement. That's kind of the way it works. Or
There's 4 different ones, so you'd have to go to E-Pack, and
Okay.
I didn't memorize it. Sorry.
Oh. shame.
Shame. Last one. This is one that you guys are going to be aware of, but it shocked me that you could buy this card very consistently. I'm going to add too. This wasn't just one time in the $500 range. Oh, you got a comment, Phil?
No, I was had my fingers crossed. I was hoping you were going to pick the card. I'd like you
Okay.
to, but the way you were describing it, it's not it.
There's 2 different variations. It's 23-24 the cup, the show black or white
Mm.
auto. These ones aren't autoed, but the auto, sorry, picked the wrong photos. The auto versions they sell for like between $475 and $525.
Really? Wow.
So I'm sorry, this one or the auto version?
The auto versions.
Auto version.
Okay.
Yeah.
That
photo snap of
Really?
here.
That's
That's
aggressively low. I want one.
And again, it's on card auto. So the black versions have silver paint pen autos,
Mhm.
and then I think it's blue or black on the white version.
are they numbered? The blue and black?
No, they're
Or blue
ratioed.
and whites? Oh, okay.
So overall, to hit either of the rookie black the show auto or white the show auto are 1 in 25 tins. Now Bedard is an SP, so what that means from an odds perspective, nobody knows. Of course, that's kind of the way Upper Deck has. It's just tougher than 1 in 25 tins, but
Right.
I think the autos are pen or paint stuck better on the white, whatever the pen they use. So I would probably lean to that one. But silver ink on black is always an amazing auto.
I think there's been improvements in the ink because some of the old silver pens, they get cracked and chippy. But I really agree with you on that, Josh. The autograph on the white card, nice and smooth. It's never in the card because of these types of finishes on the cards, but pretty close. Feels like it's on there, you know.
I love rookie cup on card auto for $500.
That's amazing. I'm shocked that it's that low.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I bought a a Crosby of the show, the white version with the auto, and it looks so nice.
Point, man. I don't care if it's in the cup. I can't say nothing. No card should be over 55 point if there's no memorabilia in it. That's
unnecessarily thick cards. Is that your?
Yeah,
it makes it more high class. That's why, Phil.
Can't fit it in the binder, man.
I know. That's why you don't like it.
Those were my 6 hidden gems. Phil, you had your fingers crossed. What's so you guys now chime in with any that you would add in off the top of your head?
I only have one off the top of my head because I own it, and it's one of the most incredible cards I've ever owned and bought. And it was my very first Connor Bedard card. And that was after the hype and the FOMO. Yeah, YOLO. That makes sense.
YOLO FOMO.
It was the scientific notation light years card. The 9,000.642 kilometers. I don't know. I 300,000 kilometers a second. That's a light year. That's easier for me to grasp. I don't know how far that is. No one can grasp that. But that card out of the 99, the numbered parallel. I top 10 best hockey cards in my entire collection. Okay, that's a stretch, maybe 50.
What did you pay for that?
I don't remember. You'd have to ask. I'll tell you who will know. It's Brendan from All In Cards. He would know what I paid for it because he helped me. He helped me work out a deal with the dealer, and it was in Quebec City.
Trade, like you traded some cards too or something. No, it's just a cash offer.
Maybe, I don't know, Dave. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it was just cash because Brendan really helped me out with the French. It's in one of the videos. Actually, I think the guy spoke English, just a little broken. I'm not sure. I got the card though, man, and it was. I never went there to buy a Connor Bedard peculiar space card from metal. Well, I guess that is up my alley, but it is.
You like space. You are.
I do like space. Big universe guy. Yeah, big universe guy.
One honorable mention I would throw in there because I thought about including this one. It's the top rookie bounty award from O-Pee-Chee paper. You know, the puzzle that you put together. They had a Bedard black out of 100. Went for huge money when it first came out because there weren't many Bedard rookies. Really nice looking card, and the prices come way down on that one. So that might be one
boxes. What about the O-Pee-Chee boxes for Bedard's?
Still expensive.
We're still like $400.
I bought one.
You did? You got one?
Bought one. Yeah. When I got my Centennial tin for the video, I needed to buy a little bit more, and it had come down enough.
You had
to where I had to.
You caught that, Josh? Yeah, I
Wait, you bought Series 2 flagship or you bought O-Pee-Chee paper?
O-Pee-Chee paper. Yeah.
Oh, what did you get?
Bedard year. I pulled one of those like trophy award winners of Brian Leach. That was like the big. Like, yeah. It was. I got some number. Yeah, I did pull like a base Bedard rookie, but yeah, nothing.
Okay.
So,
well, that's you back.
The one that I got. So, I was watching Robert from Dynasty Central Hockey do his video this morning, and he had opened a box of 23-24 credentials, and the very first pack he pulled a Bedard Provisions card, the one with the little watery balls. I love. You have that, right, Josh? Yeah. So we're card bros. So
I don't know where it is.
You don't. Did you slab shark?
Lose a card.
Oh, come on.
That's irresponsible. It's in my house. I don't lose cards.
Dignify that with a response.
But in my home, they're not lost. They're in the home.
Dave was there. Maybe he probably stole. He's a serial card robber. You know,
he left me take in 30 cards. He would have no idea.
He left me a Jonathan Quick Panini 1 of 1. Thanks, Dave. Really appreciate it.
No, it wasn't a 1 of 1.
Yes, it's a 101.
No,
No.
it's not.
It is. I'll go get it.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yes.
Well, it was a present for you
Okay.
because I love you.
Slap Sharks is a Gong Show partner sponsor. Thankful for their support of our show. The current Slap Sharks weekly auction ends tonight. Some like 6,000 cards available to bid on. We will be live starting at 8 p.m. Eastern on the Gong Show YouTube channel, covering all the key cards ending in the auction. Hope to see you in the chat. It'll be myself, the Loud Collector, Sylvan the Pretty, and a special guest who I forgot. Phil, who is it?
What? I don't know.
You said you
Oh,
arranged it.
No, it's no, I don't know. Is it my guest or your guest?
I had suggested someone for Thursday, and then you said, no, I have this person, and you told me it was, but then I forgot.
Oh,
We have
well,
dementia.
I hope
I hope they
You
show
hope they
up.
reach out
I
to
hope it
you.
works out.
Okay.
We have Sylvan. We're fine.
Maybe a surprise guest.
Maybe it was Corey, but no, I thought.
Oh, yeah, it is Corey.
yeah,
what you told
I should probably confirm with them. We'll figure it out.
We'll
Okay.
figure it out. Be sure to head to slapsharks.com, mark your favorites, set your alarms to get those bid ins, and then DM Sylvan so he can bid against you. If you're not selling your cards on Slap Sharks, well, you should be. I do it all the time. I have a Macklin Celebrating Clear Cut Rookie. I don't know if
You
you guys
do?
knew that. Ending tonight, so you should check it out. It's a nice card. We and most of the hockey hobby use the Slap Sharks because they make it so darn easy to sell your cards. You just box them up, ship them, and you're done. It's the biggest weekly hockey auction there is. So, there'll be tons of potential bidders combing through the auction each week and landing on your card, hopefully. If you're an American, too, like a winner of Olympic hockey glory, and you want to sell your cards in the biggest hockey auction, we partnered with Slab Sharks to be the official U.S. submission center, meaning you don't have to worry about international shipping. You ship them to us, and we make Baba Louie worry about it. He loves to worry about international shipping.
Wait,
Try it out. I don't think you'll be disappointed. So for complete consignment info, including payout rates, and to get your first submission process started today, head to slapsharks.com. Hobby news.
Hobby news.
Hobby news.
Louis.
Hobby news.
So I'm going to say
I
something.
know this is going to probably start to feel redundant to people, but I had to. My mind gets blown every time. The story comes from Collect. So there's a 2023 Pokemon Pikachu Gray Felt Hat Van Gogh crossover card that has a few PSA 10 copies. Well, 47,108 to be exact.
Whoa.
This card came out 3 years ago and has 47,108 PSA 10s.
What's
It
the
Generates 100%.
No, 44%, Dave, meaning that 106,352 copies have been graded by PSA.
That's insane.
what a good business framework to have, like it just, I guess that's where terms like you can print money come from when things are good. Sometimes that's insane to me.
That's crazy.
It gets crazier. So in new product releases, we're going to review the most graded hockey set years. And I'm going to do a little bit of spoiler alert. So by set year, I mean, how many cards did PSA grade from 2023, 24 hockey sets? There's, I think, one set in the entire history of, or 1 year in the entire history of hockey that had more cards graded than that Pokemon card.
Do you know what that goes for? That one of those.
Oh, I'm getting
47,000?
there.
Oh, okay.
Remember, there's 47,000 PSA
Right.
10s.
I wanna-
It
I
still
wanna know
sells
what's
between
cool.
$2,000 and $2,400.
No,
Yes.
it doesn't.
What?
Yes.
Yes,
What's the
every
market cap on that? That's
Oh,
a
I-
country.
$94 million, Phil, because I
Oh
calculated
my
it.
Gosh, that's insane.
No, I don't. Okay, listen. I already feel like a knob buying $1,000 hockey cards and people are dying in the world. I'm like, oh, not my problem. I got to worry about my own. That is crazy. Like we could solve a city's homelessness problem. We could solve California's homelessness problem with that Pikachu card. They don't want to fix it, but we could.
No, you can't. They spend $9 billion a year on that, and it doesn't get solved. So
Oh my goodness. Okay, maybe we need more of
it's
that.
just bonkers. The question that came to me from this is, you never want to say never, because you would have gone 10 years ago, would the hockey market be what it is today? Would anyone say a cup RPA would go for like Macklin Celebrini for $30,000? People would have said no way. Can you ever imagine a hockey card with 47,000 PSA 10s? It's hard to.
Yeah, I can't
Wrap
wrap
your
my
head
head
around.
around my thoughts. Don't. Dave, you? Can
I
you
don't even think there's a significant card that has that many copies. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I guess Young Guns.
The most
Young Guns.
graded single hockey card is 21,000. And then we're going to get to that a little bit later. And this one has been graded, this random Pokemon. It's a cool card. I mean, any sort of like Van Gogh type arty crossover will always capture people's attention. But this one's graded 106,000 times.
Yeah. Like Bedard's Young Gun, what is probably been graded 14,000, right? At the most. And
I think 20.
Are we over 10 yet?
Some
Yeah, it's
thousand.
got to be over 10, right?
oh,
I
okay.
think 27. You know, if you look at the Universal Pop Report, meaning all grading companies, yes.
So that I doubt there's even that many copies of his Young Gun to be graded. 47,000. Yeah,
It's good. Probably close. So
yeah, maybe close.
Next story. I totally missed this, but it was worth circling back to. Did you guys see what happened right before the World Baseball Classic final when the Team USA was taking on Venezuela? That Fanatics engineered where they sent a lot of all or most of the USA baseball players game used hockey jerseys from the Olympics, and they wore them coming into the stadium. So
I didn't know that they were game used hocky jerseys.
Yes,
though.
they're game
I just
used.
thought they were like, just jerseys.
Sanitation issues there? No.
That's
Captain of Team USA, Aaron Judge, he rocked Captain America, Austin Matthews jersey leading into the game. Bryce Harper wore Matty T's game used Olympic jersey. You want to guess who got to wear Jack Hughes?
I remember seeing it, but I can't remember who it was.
The coolest name of any baseball player right now, I think. Pete Crow Armstrong.
Oh, Armstrong.
Yeah. He wore Jack Hughes. And again, Fanatics made it happen. They probably secured a bunch of the jerseys, of course, from the game. And apparently, they didn't give them to him. They loaned them, and they will be at auction at the upcoming Fanatics Fest. Also, I guess Jack Hughes sent the team a video message prior to the championship game, but did it work? No. Team USA lost to Venezuela 3-2.
Well, same thing happened to Canada. Canada wore Team Canada jerseys before they played America, and then they lost. So maybe wearing the hockey jerseys was bad luck.
Yeah, I
Because
guess. Did they really?
Canadians lost to the Americans, again.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to say it's a trend, but I think mathematically it is. So, last story in hobby news. During a recent earnings call, Target Corporation announced plans to significantly expand its dedicated spaces and stores for collectibles. Now, Phil, you are a huge fan of earnings calls. You must have been on this one. So feel free to chime in with any nuggets that you picked up.
Oh, you're a bit of a jerks. I don't sit on earnings calls. I actually go to work and work hard for my money.
Okay. World needs ditch diggers too, Phil.
Yeah.
Back to Target Boutique, as we call it here in Minnesota. Target is a Minnesota company, by the way. I don't know if you guys knew that. We're that cool.
Oh, I did not know that.
Hey,
Target-
it's Target La Boutique.
Okay.
Oh, Target.
Okay. The T is silent.
Yes.
Target will be sharpening its focus on what they call their Fun 101 products. And that's a real name. That includes trading cards. Here's a quote from Target's Kara Heilman from the call. The things our guests tell us they absolutely love, including sports, pop culture, trading cards, and more. So they're trying to respond to feedback. Traditionally, sports cards have lived on the end caps by registers, and it sounds like they will be getting dedicated spaces moving forward, which I guess makes sense.
Cool.
Cards are booming, of course, and makes sense that these stores want to get in the action. Here's my question for you guys. Would you be surprised in the near future if we saw Target pick up on like what GameStop has done and you see a PSA grading? There's 2,000 Target stores in the US, or repacks in
All of it.
singles, maybe.
Well, isn't a move like this kind of showing that that's what they're maybe going to do? When you like boutique style, is that more of like a smaller curated kind of thing?
Yeah, what Target's doing here in the US, like they're taking like Sephora, which is a makeup
Yeah.
boutique store, and they're putting in little stores inside of big stores
Okay.
to do co-branded sort of
I think
stuff.
that's a great idea. It makes me feel better. I mean, it's clearly the hobby's not going anywhere if all these big corporate final boss folk are getting
Yeah.
interested, right? I mean, that's a big sign.
Mm-hmm. Do you think
Yeah,
it's a good thing for the hobby to kind of get greater expansion into retail?
I think it's net positive. Doesn't affect my life, but I think it's a great point of entry, and it allows new civilian collectors who aren't part of our club yet to. It's a layer of safety, you know. Like I don't want to take it for granted that I'm not a big grader guy. I don't need someone to tell me if a card's authentic. I could be had. I could maybe not. I don't know on a bad day. But there's a lot of people. If we want a lot of people to come into this hobby, we need some like soft landing for them. And I think is Target kind of like Walmart? Like I don't really know.
Yeah,
what
it's
Target
like a
is.
little bit
Okay.
nicer, you know,
Nice.
like a more upscale Walmart.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay.
I
Oh, yeah.
think so. What I think of because I got into the hobby because I bought retail first
Me
from
too.
Target. That literally
too.
that's how I got in the hobby. But the one thing I'm curious about, and Josh, you were with me when we went into, I believe it was a GameStop or some shop, and they were selling slabbed base cards for $25 or $30 each or something. And so it makes me think,
you know
like,
what that was? I was just there today.
where was that in the mall? I can't
That
remember.
was in the Mall of America. It was Tom Brady's card vault.
No.
Phil,
Slab.
you know
base
those slab
card.
bags where you can make your own labels? So what they've done is that they've taken they've created a very nice looking card vault by Tom Brady. Then they have a display that's on a high top or something like that that has a whole bunch of these slabs in them. They're $15 a piece. It's legitimately like a 2021 Upper Deck Connor Hellebuck base card for $15.
Yeah, from Flagship.
What?
Just like a
What's the
Flagship
slab? Is it a
base-
PSA slab?
No, it's
No.
you know how you can buy like your own slabs and put your own
Yeah.
like the magnetic ones. They're the magnetic
Yeah.
ones that have the spot for the flip on them.
So how do they justify that? Like who's coming in there and buying?
Because
I don't
it's the
know.
Mall
Get
of
it.
America.
No.
It's millions of random people. You see card vault by Tom Brady. Oh, and you see a card, and it's the inexperienced and naive. No, it's a 1 penny card that's just signed for $15.
So what is it? $24.99 plus tax, right?
$15 plus tax.
Okay, so are there people that are working there? It's not vending machines or something,
Yeah.
right? There's staff. So
Yeah.
I walk in, I say, "Oh, I really like the Winnipeg Jets." They're like, "Oh, we actually have a really nice," and I say, "Oh, is this actually worth something?" What do they say? They go, "No,
I don't
it's
know. I
actually."
don't know if they know any better because it's just random like employees that work there. It's not like a card shop.
It's.
I mean-
he's opened 14 of them now in the past year. I don't know if you guys have known that. All over the U.S. They're cool.
They
They
sell
have like a
teachers.
big.
They sell other things, obviously.
Yes.
Mostly hobby boxes.
Okay.
And
So,
we know Tom Brady and Michael Rubin are super tight. And so I'm guessing that this is really a Fanatics deal that they put. Tom Brady's not picking out.
obviously not.
That
I can't. I
location.
don't like those. Do you guys like that? Like, oh man, let's open a pack of video with this famous person. No, I don't. I never ever will do that with any hockey player, anybody. Even if Brady Tkachuk was like, Phil, I'm coming over. Let's open cards. I'd be like, nah, I'm good.
They're not a CDD. I know that. They had
Okay.
3 or 4 today hockey hobby boxes. They had 2024 platinum for $444 US, which is kind of the going rate now, which is crazy. That box has gotten way up. Then they had a box of credentials, I think, for $125. Their wax prices, the few times I've been there, haven't been bad,
Okay.
but they have very little hockey, and I didn't comp their. Well, okay, so I know they had a raw Slavkovsky Young Guns for $50 US. What was that? Probably maybe a $30 card at this point, so a little over. I didn't comp it, but
How big is, like, what would you say square footage is? Like
not super big.
500?
No.
500?
No, but very well done. Like they have tons of murals on the wall. They have a bunch of signed jerseys.
It's in a
The
shopping-
entrance is actually a vault, so it's like a big circle, like
Yeah.
from
Oh,
a
that's cool.
movie vault door. And then Tom Brady signed because he goes to every one of the openings and signed it. And so, but as far as like a card shop goes, very underwhelming.
How are they paying rent? That's like
At the
my
Mall of
ex
America too, which has
Well,
huge
dude.
rent, and the rent charges at MOA also include a percentage of sales. So it's no joke to
I had an ex-girlfriend. She worked at Sephora a long time ago, and I closed the restaurant on the same. So 2 days before Christmas Day, so December 23rd, her Sephora in our shopping mall, their rent was $28,000 Canadian a month. They did over $1 million
Yeah.
in sales on December 23rd. The restaurant I closed was a lineup out the door and everything. We did like 40 grand.
Yeah.
Makeup and girls destroy like it's such a different world. So how is Tom Brady's shop gonna sell, gonna crank out all this wax and pay the rent of a shopping mall?
Well, here's the thing, and this will
See,
blow
that's
your
not
mind
good.
about this will blow your mind about the Mall of America. We have
Hold on, John.
like,
Hold on. That's not good for the hobby though. If all those shops start closing down within a year or two, I think that's a bad look for our hobby.
yeah.
That's why.
So the Louis can maybe chime in a second, but I think Minnesota has like 4 or 5 million people. The amount of people that visit the Mall of America here is 30 to 42 million people a year. It's one of the biggest tourism destinations in all of the United States. And it's kind of a dumb mall. You've been there, Dave. It's not 40 million people a year go there.
Yeah. When we went in, there was people in there. It wasn't like empty. Like there was plenty of traffic.
It's still busy though. Like shopping malls around here. Like my son doesn't go to. I mean, I lived at shopping malls when I was a teenager and loitered.
Yeah, but it's kind of a destination. It's a really inefficient place to go shopping because, for instance, this is why no locals go there. Let's say you need to go to the Gap to get jeans or something like that.
Yeah.
You're inevitably there's 4 major parking ramps. You'll never pick the right one and have like a 2.5 mile walk to the Gap, and then because there's literally a theme park in the middle of it. I mean, it's
They have
that big.
roller coasters inside the mall.
Yeah, Josh was telling me it's crazy.
That's pretty cool.
So, but the point is, when you have 40 million people a year, you're going to get enough 1% of the people buy something, or half of.
What about the other? Then forget the Mall of America. What about the other locations though?
Yeah, I don't know. I agree
I'm
with
sure
you
they
though,
thought it
because
out.
that's
Just
a
seems
lot of.
aggressive.
Why I picked up my son is at the Minnesota Business School, Carlson School of Management today, and I was telling him that this would be a great case study to go from 0 to 14 locations in 1 year. That's a lot of work and a lot of risk.
Fanatics is funding the whole bit.
I would assume so.
Yeah.
That or at least gave him instant allocation, and that's a lot of product you need.
Maybe Upper Deck one day will be like Gongshow Land. Hey, do you guys want to open up 15 stores across Canada? Like,
We
now we're
go to
good.
that.
I wonder though, kind of bringing it back to like Target, like I wonder if that might be a direction, like because it's not going to be like you go into Target and you're like, hey, I pulled out some of these singles, let's negotiate. Like no one at Target's going to negotiate. So you're like going to the counter and like scanning the cards and buying them or whatever. So I wonder if that'll be similar to where you go to Target and you're like, oh yeah, well, if you go to Target, just so you know, like the cards you're buying, they're not really valuable cards.
You're not going to, Dave, go to Barb, the manager at Target, and say, oh, Barb, I was looking at this Mampo the Young Guns PSA 10, and, based on the last comp, we verify all our sales in Terapeak, and if I do the average of the last 5 comps, you have this for sale for $80. I really think it's worth $65. Would you take 72?
Yeah, but I wonder if they're just going to do kind of the same thing. Just, I don't know, sell base cards and people that don't know any better.
I would think Target's not going to do that. I aren't the folks that shop at Target a little more savvy with their coupon spending and their. Do you get what I'm saying?
A lot of that, Phil, like to your point, is like who's going to buy a penny base card for $15 It's some 10-year-old kid that sees Card Vault by Tom Brady, drags his dad or mom into the store, and they just want to get that kid something that doesn't
Yeah,
cost
they
a ton of money. And so they don't, if it's under 20 bucks, grab it.
Well,
Good
it's
with
it's the wax are gonna have to sell. I mean, man, like 30 grand to rent. Like, do you think they're selling $1,000 worth of merchandise per day? I doubt it.
I mean, they have like signed jerseys and stuff like that, so those aren't cheap. So they have other stuff besides wax and cards. There's memorabilia in there.
So I look at how many pizzas do you have to sell before you
Yeah.
pay to keep the lights on,
Didn't
right?
they have
And then-
artwork in there too? Like
signed
signed
jerseys. And so here's it. Okay, I just looked up. The Mall of America charges retail rates. This is crazy. $55 a square foot.
yeah, it's crazy. Yes,
Mm.
that's more than 30 grand.
lot.
That's great. Guaranteed 30 grand, man. They're obviously Fanatics is. I mean, we have a friend who has a business, and it's just kind of breaking even. But the other really big part of his business floats the rest of the businesses, right?
Yeah.
So is it one of those? Could it be like their jerseys, since they spend so little on making jerseys for the leagues that they're supposed to be making good jerseys for? Since they're making so much money off of that, maybe they're subsidizing these other possible failed or successful ventures.
Maybe, but it's not just product. It comes down to the culture and vibe you want. So if you open up one shop and you're the owner operator, you can be there every day and make sure that you treat customers in the exact way you want them treated, and that everything is laid out and you're catering events. When you open up 14 stores all over the US and you have to hire John, who was the manager at Denny's before, to be the manager at your store.
John could be very good at what he was doing. You leave John alone.
Bill is very sensitive to his Denny's.
I
Leave
am
his
very
Denny's alone.
It's very hard to create that consistent experience. Well, which is why like McDonald's is so successful, because they solved that puzzle. They have thousands and thousands of locations, and they have such tight controls over how they're set up and operated, and the food is distributed, that they can create a consistent experience whether you're in California or Minnesota. I would think that would be the biggest challenge for Tom Brady.
Did you see the movie Founder?
No.
Josh, that will be your favorite movie. I highly recommend my 2 friends, my 3 friends, all my friends, and the good listener to look up the movie with Michael Keaton. It's called Founder, and it's about Ray Kroc. Ray Kroc, and it is phenomenal.
Who's
It is
Ray Kroc?
excellent. It is so good. Yeah, check it out, and it'll explain exactly what Josh said.
Who's Ray Kroc?
Founder of McDonald's.
Oh, okay.
He was like almost 60 when he did everything. It's like, so if you think you're too old to do something, just watch this movie. You're good to go. You're good to go.
A couple of weeks ago, I came across the Mint G1 case, I think on Instagram, that goes for $1,000, a card case, like similar to a top loader. Well, not similar, but in the same vein as a top loader or a one-touch holder. And then immediately stood out. And then I went to their website because I'm like, well, I have to learn more about this. And when I saw it was sold out, then I got really interested in it, because like I said, most of our cards end up being in a 35-cent top loader, or if we get fancy with it, with the bid, we spend $4 on that one touch. So the idea of a card case being worth $1,000, I want to know if it was worth it. And best way to find out is go to the source. And we had the opportunity, Phil and I did the other day, to chat with Brian Pirrip, who is the founder and CEO of Mint, to ask that question. Here's our conversation with Brian. We're pleased to welcome to the Gong Show podcast Brian Pirrip, who is the founder and CEO of Mint, to talk about some of the very interesting collectible cases that your company has developed. Hello, Brian. Welcome to the show.
It's a real pleasure to be here today. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Okay, let's start with your history in collecting and maybe what brought you to founding a company in this space.
Yeah, I started collecting when I was about 8 years old. It was, stereotypical story on the bus going to school. Buddy, busts out some 1988 Topps cards, and boom, instant hooked. I was like, wait, these are players. There's value here. There's my prices are going up and down with my Beckett magazine. how is this not the most amazing thing ever? And next thing you know, I'm at the card shop ripping packs for the first time. And boom, that was it for me. The next like 5 years of my life was all cards all the time until high school, when my family moved to Germany on a very remote little military base in the middle of nowhere, Germany. And we had zero access to packs. Nobody really collected that I could meet. And so, and then all of a sudden it became movies, music, girls, and cars. And that took over life until I turned about, I was 29 years old when I kind of rediscovered the hobby. I was going through a really challenging time in life. My kind of career had collapsed and I was looking to do entirely new things. And I came across some article about the Bash Brothers, Jose Canseco and Mark McGuire. And it was like this boom, this wave of nostalgia hit me, slapped me across the face.
Did you have that poster growing up? Because I did. I don't know if you did either, Phil.
I did not. No, I did not.
I didn't have the Bash Brothers, but I did in my room. I had a poster of Jose Canseco and a poster of Mark Grace on my wall all through childhood.
Okay, there you go.
And so hearing the name Jose Canseco as a 29-year-old, a name I hadn't thought of for, years. And instantly I was like, 12 again. And I got all those amazing feelings of childhood and nostalgia that a lot of people that have left the hobby and come back to the hobby experience. And I think I camped out for the next 3 months, like reading everything I could and going on eBay and building my own little collections on a spreadsheet of like what I would own if I could afford them, because I was broker than a joke when I was 29. And, just ripping a few packs that I could. And from then, so that was 2009. So from 2009 to 2026, I've been, pretty hardcore in it. And, spent way too much money on a hobby that I love, and like we all do, and sneaking off to card shops when I should be, doing other things, and ripping packs when I should be doing other things, and just having a great time getting back into my hobby. I kind of started throwing heavier cash into it maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago. Started really building up the collection, treating it like an investment a bit, but also enjoying it. But I've always, I love this hobby. It's always been very important to me. And I remember my mother was like, Brian, you're starting a company all about cards. Are you sure you want to do that? You might accidentally destroy your hobby and your love for it by turning it into your career as well.
Oh, I've been there, Brian. I left a 25-year advertising career to become a Hockey Cards podcaster. And those were the look on my family's face when they found out was pretty priceless.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
When did you start? When did you start this? When did you start this adventure? When did your mom tell you that?
Oh, she did. It was 5 years ago. I started Mint 5 years ago, almost to the day, actually, coming up on a 5-year anniversary next week. And what it was is it was a COVID thing. It was, I owned a television production company. I was filming a television show with China, and I was also doing tourism with China. The worst possible businesses anybody could ever get into in 2019 and 20 was Chinese television and tourism, right? And so I had to quickly switch gears. And I had a list of various ideas of things that I would be interested in kind of building in my life, companies I'd want to make. I'm like a serial entrepreneur, whole career's entrepreneurship. And one of my ideas was I'd always wanted to build better displays and cases for my own cards. I'd gone to picture frame companies, tried to get them to, build a beautiful wall display for my wall. And it was always tacky, cheesy, bad materials. I just never really liked what was, on offer.
Yeah. No, I can identify that because I've thought so many times about how people will put a $20,000 card in a 15-cent top loader.
Yeah.
Not that the cost of it is like the end all be all, but just more in line with the sort of quality of what you get for your money, that the display and storage and protection and aspect of this hobby, it seems like it's been behind for a number of years now to me.
Yeah, it's bothered me. I mean, why are the 3 PSA 10 Mickey Mantles that are arguably worth 40 or $50 million in the same 99-cent piece of plastic as a $1 card? It always bothered me. I'd have a $10,000, Michael Jordan rookie card sitting on my desk at my office, and people would walk by and they're like, "Oh, that's nice, you a little kid's toy." And I'm like, "No, that's a $10,000 card." And nobody could understand that because of the material that it was kind of put in, And it's like putting a $1 million F1 engine into like a Honda Civic or something, right? It just didn't make sense. And so that always bothered me. I always was bothered. I'm buying these cards that I love so much, and not even just the valuable ones. I'm talking about the cards that I love, my $20 Frank Thomas rookie or my $5 Jose Canseco rookie card. Like, I still hated putting those into top loaders, one touches, penny sleeves, binders, whatever. I thought it was an affront to the card. To me, these are like little pieces of fine art, and the whole protection display industry hadn't evolved at all. The cards had evolved. Like, we went from having 1989 kind of Topps cardboard to all of a sudden 1989 Upper Deck, nice printing, to chrome and refractors. And now, we have just the best materials you could ever use for the production of the cards. But what we display them in, what we protect them with, none of that had evolved. It's still the same. You walk into any card shop and it's just cardboard boxes and Ultra Pro all over the place. And it's the only word I can use to describe it is that it's tacky and cheap. And our cards deserve better.
So you have two core products that we will get into in a minute, but I'm curious, as you started to tackle this opportunity, right? Problems are always opportunities in business, to find a better way to display cards, maybe a more appropriate way to display high value cards. Did you go through like a million iterations and ideas to get to where you finally landed at?
Yeah, it's been 5 years, right? And so it was a beast of a project. When I first started this, I thought it would take 1 or 2 years to get a case that would be, better than a PSA case or a one touch or whatever. And initially, my very first concept drawing 5 years ago was a pieces of glass with steel around it. And I took it to an industrial designer, and I said, I'd love for you to kind of flesh this idea out. And so he came back and he was like, the number one thing I think that needs to change is the flip at the top of every graded case. They're hideous. From a design standpoint, they take away the eye. They detract the eye away from the card and onto the flip. And so we care about the cards, and yet the flip is what's getting the attention.
What do you mean the flip? The magnet on the one touch?
The label is what they call the flip.
Right.
And
okay.
Label at the top of it, like a PSA case. It's that red kind of bordered Dewey Decimal System kind of thing. Looks like a card catalog from the 1980s. And so the industrial designer I first hired, who's a brilliant designer, he goes, anyone in the world, in the design world, would tell you that this is an eyesore. There's better ways to do things. And so I ended up working with him for the next many months. And then he said, Brian, this is actually going to be, you don't realize this, but this is going to be far more complex because you really need mechanical engineering to be able to protect the card in all the right ways. And so I ended up hiring a firm in Silicon Valley that does industrial design and mechanical engineering. And we then spent the next pretty much 2 years trying to figure out all the key components, all the actual materials engineering, and how to have tight tolerances within, using high grade steel, best glass in the world, what kind of components you would use to genuinely protect a card that would, give dignity back to that card over a long period of time, that would protect it from UV, that would protect it from, elements or whatever, but would actually aesthetically also make the card look more beautiful. And so it took way longer. And we finally came up with a version maybe 2 years ago. And I remember we had it fully functional, working. It was great. But I thought it was kind of boring. I thought it looked like an iPhone 5. And so I said, I wouldn't buy this myself. So why would I try to sell this thing? And so I went back to the engineers and designers and I said, we have to make this thing special. So we started exploring various kinds of glass, different kinds of glass Sapphire.
Just to pause you had a finished product and you personally weren't happy. You're like, this wasn't good enough. Back to the drawing board.
Yeah. If I'm not going to buy it, when am I going to sell it?
That's amazing. Oh, my respect just went boop. That's incredible. Go ahead.
And I please do continue. But before you do, I did throw up on the screen the G1, your like spendy case, and it does have a very much. You can tell it's inspired by the iPhone. It's like, was your designer Johnny Ivy or something like that? He probably would have been pretty expensive, but
friend with Johnny Ivy, for sure. Yeah, we used the iPhone. My favorite iPhone was my favorite kind of case or phone of all time was the iPhone 5, which became also the iPhone SE. And so I drew inspiration from that, primarily the rounded corners. But that was the real inspiration. But that was truly secondary. The main thing was, let's get rid of the flip, the thing at the top. And here was the key differentiator that really changed everything for us, is we thought, it's such a small innovation, but it changed everything, which is, instead of having all that information at the top, turn it into like a bookshelf and laser etch all the details on the side. So the side of the case is where the details are. So if you have a big stack of PSA cases, you can't tell what's what. But if I stack up a bunch of mint cases, I can read the sides of them and figure out what these cards are. And so that for us was a really key killer innovation, which changed everything for us.
Okay, so you're going through the process. You're hiring industrial designers. You're hiring mechanical engineers. At some point, it must have hit you that this is not going to be like a $20 card case here, and so you must have had to reconcile. And this is like one of the key questions that I have about your company, and what fascinates me about what you're doing is there a market for people to buy a very high end, a luxury, call it, way to encase your card? And I used to work in new business development and I was an entrepreneur at companies developing new products. And and I know you know this, Brian, but maybe people in the audience don't. One of the trickiest parts when you're trying to launch a new product into a marketplace is getting good feedback from the market. You show them this case and you're asking like, well, what do you think? They're like, oh my God, that's amazing. But there's a difference between just getting feedback and asking someone to get that credit card swipe. Yeah. That's when you really learn if there's a viable market. So how did you go through that process? First, I guess, realizing that this is not going to be a $5 one touch. Yeah. and getting the confidence to continue to invest to bring it to market.
These are great questions. These are the kind of questions I've been looking forward to being asked, and fantastic. Well, there's a few parts there. The first is, there was a day where we realized this is not going to be cheap. There's no way that we can do this cheap. And that was upsetting to me because I didn't start this to kind of sell, Ferraris as cases.
You weren't trying to be like Louis Vuitton of card cases or something like that?
I didn't start this out to do that. I just wanted there to be a better option, a better product. And, but when I was working with these designers and engineers, they would ask me like, well, how do you want to do this? And how do you want to do that? And I was like, well, we have to do this thing right. And we have to do it right the first time. We can't release a product that's subpar. Like the company that really goofed in a huge way was Rare Edition. They came out with a case that was kind of better. It had some glass on there, but they didn't take it far enough. And then they were also trying to be a grader at the very same time, which was the absolute death knell for them, is that they're trying to be great at two different things. They're trying to be a great grader and they're trying to be a great case maker, but they didn't take either of them the distance that they needed to. And so we knew that, number one, we weren't going to be a grader. That was the first thing we knew, is we're going to just make cases, and then we're going to make these cases available to all the graders to partner with us. And so we don't care who grades a mint case. It could be PSA, it could be Beckett, it could be Mike Baker authenticated. It doesn't matter. Or people could have ungraded. We had one of the 100 cases that we sold a couple weeks ago was a guy that had a card that was personal to him that he doesn't want graded. It's just one of his favorite cards that he might have made it himself. I don't even know, but he just wanted to have the world's best display. So when I started
When you say case, you mean 1 unit for 1 card. Is that correct?
Yeah, I refer
That's
to
one
this.
case.
Yeah, or
That's
a holder.
1 case. Okay.
And
Yeah,
that's
this-
$1,000 US, Bill.
Yeah, this is
I'm sorry?
$1,000 US. Yeah.
For how many?
Exactly.
For how
One.
many?
One.
What?
Just yep. Well, there's more to this
1,000?
story, and that's where we're going in the story. And so what happened? Though I got to remind you, we sold out within the shortest amount of time.
No,
ever.
you got it. Listen, you make a good pizza, you can charge what you charge for it. I don't care. You just caught me off guard. I need to absorb. Sorry.
Well, what's funny is we actually, so when we first started this, we actually brought in some McKinsey consultants and said, if you were to sell a case of this kind, how much would you sell it for? And they went out, did their homework, and they did all their research, and they did the focus groups and interviews and surveys, and they came back and they said, we think you should charge $1,000 for this case. That was based on market research to collectors and based on the market size.
Man. That's yeah.
Well, and it seems like too that you're not all throughout this process so far, and we're very still early into the story.
Yeah.
What I'm picking up on it, Brian, is you didn't cut any corners. I'm not going to ask you, even though I am curious, but I'm not going to ask you how much you spent on R&D to bring this to market, but I'm guessing it was a lot.
Yeah,
and you're not going to recover your money by selling 10 cases like that.
Well, obviously he's passionate. Like money is just, I look at money just to get me to where I want to be in that environment. We just met, but you have a mission, you have a finish line that you wanted to get to. No one's getting in my way. And here we are, right? I mean, we're hearing your story.
That's precisely it, is that I had a vision for all of these things. And there's a grander vision with where all this is going. And I knew that we had to kind of do things right. And that's why I was okay to take longer to do them and to bring the right partners, even the engineers and the designers, they're not just super talented, they're good people. Like everyone I brought into it are actually really cool people. Like we don't have a single negative toxic person in our entire ecosystem. If there's a slight hint of a toxic person, we get rid of them and find another company or another group to work with. So everything from our laser consultant to our distributors and to our manufacturers, like we love everyone we're working with. And that took a lot of time. So I didn't want to, to your point, I didn't want to cut any corners on this. I knew that if we put a subpar product in the market, we'd get roasted by the hobby. The hobby is not a friendly place.
It's a fickle thing. Eh? You gotta be careful.
You can't go halfway on the like a high end case, right? Like you're talking about that other company. It seems like that's what they did, where they maybe they got afraid, where it's like, oh, we can't charge too much, and I think it's like you either got to make a better $6 one touch, or go all in.
They're like, what do you want us to do? Charge $1,000 for a case? No one's going to do that. And then he sells out.
we proved everyone wrong. And so also keep in mind, the people that bought the G1 cases, it was sight unseen. None of our customers had ever held one in their hand. And we didn't do any advertising. Zero. We didn't take out any ads. We didn't put out any content about it. In fact, we only sent a single email to just our wait list. And that's how we sold our cases. How
many cases on first launch?
We sold 100. We called it the 100 Club because I had something.
That's good.
Yeah, I wanted. Part of it was to just test my own theory. I wanted to test my theory that people would in fact buy this. That was the first thing I wanted to test, and it tested true. And then the second thing is I wanted to get the waitlist feedback. I wanted to see what people thought. I wanted to, because I always had a plan in mind for the 100 Club, and people are going to lose their minds when they know what we're going to do in about a couple of weeks for the 100 Club. It's pretty special, and it's very on brand for myself and for Mint. And
teddy bears, isn't it? You're sending teddy bears. Thank you.
Yeah, teddy bear. But back to your original point, you were saying, this is a high price point. How do you feel about that? And what it did is it actually made me really sad at first, because my content tends to really, it's very salt of the earth content. I hand out, dollar packs to kids and things on all my channels, and I'm going to baseball cards shops and I'm buying junk wax cards. And so the case and my personal brand there was a distance there, because I personally, my favorite cards are junk wax from the 80s and early 90s. And here I am building this Ferrari on the side. And so I thought there's a huge disconnect there. And a lot of my, followers I've met over the years, I'm like, well, none of these guys are going to be able to buy these things. And so it really frustrated me. And so I went back to our engineers and designers and I say, we have to have something that anyone can buy. We have to have some sort of an entry point product where, and that's where the hobby case came from, is I said, let's get to the drawing board. Let's forget about the super crazy high end stuff. And let's create a case where, any kid could still afford one. And that's the hobby case that you're showing right there. And so that's a $25, that's our entry level product,
which is still a lot. So how do you justify $25 for this?
Well, there you go again. See, that's another great question. It's kind of the same as this as the G1, which is we started getting into, okay, you've got an entry level product. How can you make it better than a one touch? Otherwise, we might as well just sell one touches and rebrand them, right? But that's stupid. And so we looked, okay, how would you actually protect a card and display it and make it nice? Well, there's some key components. Number one is we knew we had to have a recessed, like a bezel over top of the interior piece. So I'm holding one right here.
That's
hand.
Nice.
Yeah,
throw them up on the big.
So that's the hobby case. And so what it is it's a couple different pieces. There's the interior bit and then the bezel. But the bezel is recessed on the inside so that if, whenever you have a one touch on your desk and you slide it around, it scratches very, very easily.
Yeah.
So because we put distance between the bezel and the front, we wanted to make sure that you could never scratch the front and back of the actual viewing area. That was really important to us.
Gotcha.
Another thing is we put in a very strong circular and cylindrical magnets, so that there's 4 magnets top and back. So if you go and throw this down the street, it's still not going to open up. So it keeps your card very, very secure. And then it drops into the bezel. And it's actually, like fidget spinners from back in the day. People we discovered just love dropping their cards in the cases, but it actually gives an aesthetic, which a lot of people have seen our wall displays and our, so the actual core product of Mint is actually our wall displays. That's the kind of the central piece. And so whether you have a G1 or a hobby case, all of them fit into the wall displays in the same way.
That's a really nice case, man. No, put that G1 back up. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. That's beautiful.
Yeah. That's only $250,000.
Start saving your pennies, Philip.
Yeah. So what about IOU checks? Checks in the mail.
IOU one Lamborghini.
How about a big hug?
We also wanted to price these things in a way that, they're higher than anything else. In fact, that was another thing where when we first came out to the market, people said, "No, but nobody's going to buy a $25 case. Nobody's going to buy a $25 case." Are you kidding? We've completely sold out all of our runs. Because what I try to do is I make them fun, and my way of making them fun, because supplies aren't fun. At the end of the day, they're not fun, right? And nobody wants to go. Nobody goes to the store and says, "Let me buy a bunch of one touch Ultra Pro one touches. I can't wait." So the way I wanted to make it more fun was by putting these golden tickets into cases. Here's an example of a golden ticket, and those are redeemed for various things. And so it's become kind of like a Willy Wonka and chocolate factory kind of thing for us, where we slip into hobby cases that we ship out a lot of high-end cards. The very first kind of drop we did, I put a $10,000 1957 Mickey Mantle into a G1. And so somebody in the mail, instead of just buying a hobby case, they got one of the golden tickets in the mail. They called me up on the phone. We filmed myself talking to the person, and we posted it for everybody to see that a guy who's a mail carrier in South Chicago found our golden ticket. And next thing you know, we shipped him out a $10,000 Mickey Mantle card in a G1.
And then does he get to keep the case he originally purchased?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you have to give that back.
And then we tried other things. Like we sent out a $15,000 Griffey Mantle dual auto. We one of my favorite ones is we put in a golden ticket for me to take somebody personally to an NFL game of their choosing. And so another guy in Chicago found one of the golden tickets, And I ended up picking him up in the airport and flew him out to Los Angeles, picked him up at the airport, and we took him to an NFL game, great seats, the food, drinks, a hotel, all expenses paid trip, as for some guy had found a golden ticket in one of our hobby cases. And I wanted to make things fun, because if you get a picture frame at Walmart or Target, right, there's always a picture of, some family and their dog or something, right? And so I didn't want to I thought a hobby case by itself kind of looked dumb. But the second you put a card into it and then the packaging, it doesn't matter if it's a 1-cent card or a $10,000 card, it just feels better having a card in there to kind of show people how it works. And so every single hobby case we've ever sold has come with at least a card, but it could be great cards. And we do these things called auto drops, where every about once a month, we put out about 2,000. We buy up 2,000 autographs, just random, put a few big autographs in, put them all into hobby cases, and then ship them out to people that buy them over a 48-hour time period. So the goal was to kind of make it fun for everyone. And then we started putting hats into some of the boxes. We've been giving a wax pack into all of the packaging of people that are participating in the drops. We're just trying to have we discovered that we enjoy this whole thing. We're trying to have more fun with it. So when you say, it's a $25 price point, it's very important to note there's a lot of extra things that are baked in. And so this isn't a huge, moneymaker for us. It's actually pretty well, most of that margin is eaten up by our various things that we're either giving away or packages.
It sounds like you're trying to build and succeeding a community, a culture for, you speak so highly of your staff and your company. You want to put your vibe out there, because you seem very positive, and it's good, Yeah.
No, this is actually what you see is what you get. It's just, I've worked, I've done other companies and worked at companies where you fear a Sunday night because you hate going to work the next day, right? Yeah. Where you don't care about what you work on and you're just living for the weekend and you're going to go do your barbecue and that's what you're looking forward to. I really wanted M1NT to be kind of my, the last company I really work at, where I can surround myself by the things and people that bring me joy. And that's what we've been trying to do. And so the hobby case, its purpose was to be a kind of a brand, kind of, getting the brand out there, showing people what this company is about, people understanding our ethos. We do a lot of content like scavenger hunts where we'll bury a hobby case in the sand in Huntington Beach here, and then people will find it. So we're trying to make things fun, but on the side, I'm just prepping the G1. I'm prepping the G1, and when people discover what we're doing with the G1 and athletes specifically, and the technology side of all that, it's going to blow people's minds. The tech alone is the coolest thing of the G1. So when you say, why is this why did we start charging $1,000? The reason is that every single G1 comes with an NFC tag on the inside. There's an actual computer chip, and not just a tag. It's like a full-on little mini computer inside of
GPS. G1. Can you track the card?
We can do a lot. Yeah, GPS requires a power supply at this point in history.
Okay.
And so we didn't want to put any kind of power supplies, but you can, there's an NFC, boom, scans, and all of a sudden there's a whole host of applications. So we've actually created the very first real world asset class that's an NFT. So, people were doing all that artwork with NFTs a few years ago.
Yeah, like buying monkey pictures for $12 million.
Yeah, all sorts of dumb stuff like that. The main problem with it is there was no actual intrinsic value underpinning the value of those NFTs. So this is actually a non-fungible token. You cannot open this unless there's only one way it can be opened, and with a very specialized system that we have here. Well, and if somebody wants to open their case, we'll open it for them. But what it does is it zeroes the data on the chip. There's no way to extract the card without destroying the computer chip.
Brian, could you speak more about that? So you can't open that case?
No, you can't. It's sealed.
Oh.
If somebody wants to open it and remove their card, because this is a graded case, right? This is a Mike Baker 10 right there. So this is a perfect 10 Ohtani.
So you've partnered with Mike Baker to offer grading services to your cases.
Yeah, I feel like we skipped over. Could you explain? So I am not aware that's a graded case. Could you explain that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that we knew that we wanted to give people the option of whether they wanted to have their cards in a whether they could put a card in here raw or graded, because we've had a lot of people say, I don't care about grading. I just want to have the case.
Okay.
And so we okay, we'll make we're going to offer them raw for somebody that wants to put in their card that they truly care about.
That would be me. So I would like a raw card. So use me as an example. I want my Wayne Gretzky raw card in that case. What do I do?
Precisely. So what you would do is you would buy the case online on our website once we publicly go live, which is a couple weeks from now. And then you would send your card to us. We film the whole process of receiving the card. We in fact store all that information on the blockchain, so it's there permanently linked to the case.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, it's really cool, sophisticated. I don't want any to ever be accused that we clipped a corner and nicked a card.
Yeah. No, I love it, man.
I was going to ask you about that. That anytime you're handling a card, there's a risk to damaging it, and that's a little scary.
Yeah, and that is exactly why. So we have a camera rig above anything. Smart. Anytime the card is ever being touched, it is being filmed 100%.
Protect your ass,
yeah, it's total, cover your ass kind of stuff. But also, I think it's really cool stuff. And so we take, the card out of as it comes out of the packaging, as it is removed from the prior case, everything is filmed. Everything is then stored on the chip on the blockchain, and then the card goes into the case. We seal it up. We have a pretty cool encapsulation process, and then once it's sealed, it goes into our packaging and then gets mailed back to you. And the turnaround
is that
time.
Still a PSA approved card?
Well, if it's in a PSA case.
The raw. I apologize.
Yeah, so that's for raw. For people that want graded, they have to. Initially we thought we'd partner with Mike Baker because he's a friend of mine and he's also the world's best grader. He did, most of the Honus Wagners. He did all 3 PSA 10 Mickey Mantles. He's the guy that started PSA grading back in 1991. And
did he grade the first card? Did he grade the very first card PSA graded?
I would assume he did. I would assume so. He came up with the whole system. He came up with the whole grading system. He's the OG guy. And so we thought he would be nobody can even name another grader in the hobby, right? If I say, name me 3 graders.
He's the only one that people know by name.
Exactly. And there's a reason why. And so we thought, let's take this guy and make it so he's our first grading partner with the G1. Okay. And so for that, what happens is that when people ship out their cards to us, and after we take them out and video them, then Mike Baker comes to our facility and he grades them in person. And then we put the card in. So that process is a little longer because what we do is we batch them so that Mike doesn't have to come, every 2 minutes to our facility. And then the card goes out. And then what's happened is that the grade is then laser etched on the side. So you can see there, that's the Mike Baker diamond. And then you'll see there's a 10 on there.
So can you have a card graded after it's already been encapsulated? Like, let's say you encapsulate somebody like Phil's PC card, and then a year later he wants to get it graded. Can he send it back to you to get it graded, or once it's encased, is that no longer an option?
It is an option still. So we have a proprietary, like I did mention, I had a laser consultant earlier. We have a really cool way of opening the case. Yeah, man. Anytime you get to work with baseball cards and lasers in your weekly experience, that's I have the coolest job in the world. I get to work with lasers and baseball cards. And
you just need sharks now. You just need sharks.
Yeah, sharks. I do. I'm working on getting myself a shark. But the idea is that if somebody wants to, like, let's say that somebody wants to change the color of their glass, right? Or they want to have the card graded after it's been, it was ungraded or whatever. Or they want to maybe in a year from now, we have a deal with Beckett and PSA where they're also using our cases and grading for us. Then if somebody ever wants their card removed for any purpose, it's a very easy process and extremely safe. It's just the only caveat is that it's
on the ground. Opa.
Phil has a slab cracking service, so you're saying that won't work for his service.
You got some competition here, Brian.
I'd love to see it, and I can't wait to see you try to crack one of these open. One of our mechanical engineers almost trying to get into one of these. Dude, you know what? We're gonna do a contest or something. I thought it would be cool to do a contest where if anybody can get in one of these and not hurt the card, we're going to
that's the key.
we'll give them like $1 million or something, because
that'd be fun.
Because what we essentially have done now is we've killed counterfeiting. You cannot counterfeit this card once it's gone in. I can counterfeit PSA cases all day if I bought myself, their hypersonic welding machine and some of the plastic.
There's you put your mind to it, you can do it.
But you cannot counterfeit one of these. And even better than that, it actually really, in my opinion, it kills theft. Because once your card is in here and the chip is active, if somebody steals this case and takes it and tries to sell it at a card show in like New York, all somebody has to do is hover their phone over the case, and it will come up that it is a stolen item.
How do you transfer ownership, though? So let's say Phil gets his card put into a G1 case and then sells it to me, or sells it on eBay a year later. Then how, because then it's not stolen. It just transferred ownership.
We have a transfer of ownership. So there's an app for the user, there's an app for the graders, and there's an app for us at Mint. And so it's a very simple process to transfer ownership.
Does it cost money or a membership fee?
Nope. We do all that as part of the G1. So that's what we're doing, is we're baking in a lot of the costs. And one of the things that we're going to announce in the next couple of weeks here is that we are uncoupling the pricing structure. So that G1 where we released it for $1,000, that was kind of like all encompassing. We were putting in the grading, and the grading even up to like $1 million of value kind of thing. So, and we also baked in the tech and the tokenization of the case and every kind of all of it in. But upon reflection, what we're doing is we're actually going to fragment it and take it out. And so we're now making the case a separate, we're selling the case now at a base price, and then people can add on the tokenization. So
all the card services, essentially.
Oh, okay, cool.
And so you'll be happy to know that you guys are the first people hearing this. We're actually also one of the major things is that when we sold those 100 on so fast, but what ended up happening is I probably got 1,000 emails from people, DMs or emails, and people were like, Brian, why is it $1,000? I've been following you for 3 years or 4 years or 5 years or whatever, and I really want to buy one. And it really hit me. I'm like, you know what? I would rather have market penetration and get way more of these into the market than try to do it that way. I'd rather sell 2 G1s for $500 each than one for $1,000. And so what we're going to do is, because we're removing the grading and we're removing tokenization, I'm going to actually start the G1 is going to be starting at $499. Our public launch in 3 weeks is that we figured it out. We figured out how to do it. And what we're doing for the initial, essentially all the people that got the initial G1s, we're giving them all to them for free. So I've already refunded all the first 100 people. So really cool stuff. And so the first one,
I wish I would have known about this.
Yeah, I'm like, well,
cool. Okay.
I wanted to do something special for the kind of the true believers that came on board day one.
That's amazing, dude. That's amazing. So
yeah, it's cool stuff. So we've refunded everyone the $1,000. We're giving them all away for free to the first 1,000. We're already trickling out the first ones to people. In fact, our very first buyer of the case was starting pitcher for the Astros. And so I'm meeting up with him at the opener of Houston Astros to give him his case, his G1 in his hands, and then telling him it's actually for free. You've already been refunded.
What card? No, charge him. Charge him. Don't charge people like me and Josh. Charge him. Yeah, what card is he? Is it his own card?
It's his Superfractor rookie card auto.
Of himself?
Of himself. It's a phenomenal.
That's crazy. That's such a trip.
That is. Okay, so I have a lot more feature questions, but I want to take a little sidebar because I've had something in my head for about the last 20 minutes. And
sure.
Going back to that launch, in the 5 years that you put into this, when you hit the go button to do that first sale of the G1, you had to have been really nervous because and thank God it sold out right away. But if you had sold 4 now at this point, I'm assuming that would have been a problem.
Like that, that honestly, it would have been a problem. But when our wait list was a sizable enough wait list where we thought we were going to move pretty quickly.
You had high confidence.
I had high confidence, and we have a lot of true believers now. You'd be surprised at how many people have purchased our hats, or how many, like, whenever I announce that I'm coming to a card shop now, there's, most oftentimes a line now that is out the door for people that just want to do a meet and greet kind of stuff. And so we knew that there's a lot of love for Mint over the years, and we knew there was a big enough wait list to support the initial 100 drop. But we wanted to just see people's reactions. But we always knew that we were going to give all these cases away for free. It was just, we wanted to see who kind of joined us on the journey and what their experiences were. I had one guy in South Korea that bought one, and he goes, "Brian, I love that you're selling them for $1,000 because I would have paid $2,000 for it." And he goes, "I'm in manufacturing, and I'm in high-end kind of, material. And he goes, now that I've learned about what the tech can do, it's a no-brainer. So if I can buy a $10,000 card, put it into your $2,000 case, whatever, but I'm selling it for $16,000 and making that arbitrage because there's a rare finite amount of Mint cases, it's to my benefit." And he goes, "And the materials that you're using, it makes a lot of sense, because our material costs, our cost of goods sold, are actually extraordinarily high because we're not cutting corners. And for anytime that any of our kind of any partners find out what our COGS are, they're like, 'Whoa, you guys are spending that much to make these cases?' And we're like, 'Yeah, there's a reason why. It's because..."
Where are they manufactured, Brian? Are they manufactured in USA or overseas, or a bit of both? You got to get parts from there, parts here, and assemble them in your warehouse, or?
Yeah. It's kind of a bit of both.
Okay.
Kind of half American, half Taiwan.
Yeah.
With a little bit of Hong Kong.
I was gonna guess, because it's so similar to the iPhone. If they're at Foxconn or something like that, if they're making the G1 as well as the iPhone. Okay.
No, we put our raw materials across, and then we do all assembly here. And so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, everything's assembled in house, and they come in these little kits that separate the glass from the screws. Like, the screws are titanium. We have Viton O-rings, like some very sophisticated materials.
Of the first 100 that were purchased, what was the biggest card that somebody sent you to put into the G1?
I would probably say there was a huge Ohtani card that came in, like huge, like massive.
Wow.
We're going to reveal that one in a video we're filming with that person.
Okay, cool.
And I thought primarily we had Yamamoto cards. We had
any hockey. Was there any hockey cards?
Yeah, a really nice high grade O-Pee-Chee Gretzky came in.
Yeah, we're on the board. We're on the board.
Young Guns Ovechkin, high grade.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
A bunch of F1 cards.
Cool.
One UFC card. No, 2 UFC cards. But primarily, it was mainly baseball, and I would say Shohei Ohtani was definitely the winner. But my favorite was that baseball player that had his superfractor. And I'll be filming that.
That's great.
I'm filming that content with him this week or next week, and then posting it for everyone to be able to watch his reaction of when he sees it.
Sure.
Where do we see this content? Do you have a YouTube channel, Brian? Is it on your website, or what do you recommend to follow?
Yeah, well, TikTok is my biggest platform. That's my prime, like, as far as the largest following I have is on TikTok, and then I'm also on. But I am on Instagram. I'm on YouTube, Facebook.
We like Instagram. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're Instagram, my name's Brian Pirrip, and I use @BrianPirrip. So I make it pretty easy. Though,
nice.
Again, you're the only guys that have ever pronounced it properly. So well done.
We get lucky every now and again. Okay. So when I'm going to make a quick parallel to cheaper stuff. Like when you buy a One Touch, a lot of times, even there's different quality One Touches, but they look awesome out of the pack. And then you pick up that card like 4 months later, and you can barely see the card anymore because the case is so scratched up. If I'm buying a G1 case for $1,000, I have no doubt it's going to look amazing the first day you send it back to me. But how is it going to look 4 months down the road?
Well, I've had this Shohei Ohtani has been in my possession now for about a year, and I take it everywhere around the world with me. And it still looks like it's right out of the package, brand new. And I take
Was that a big consideration though? Like, did you engineer into it to that there's going to be an expectation of not scratches, not stuff like that?
It's got certain coatings on the outside. Like first off, the exterior glass is Gorilla Glass. It's the highest graded glass on the Mohs scale for what's called hardness, which is actually a measure of scratches more than anything. And so, but also at the same time, these weren't really designed to be. It wasn't really meant to put like 30 of these inside a Zion case and then take them all over the planet, right?
Yeah.
What we've discovered is the handful that we've kind of already given away to some of our partners, they tend to treat them like it's really interesting to see how people trade it. I was with general manager of the Yankees maybe a year ago, and we were having lunch, and I had several cards on the table, including like some really big cards, like $10, $20, $30,000 cards sitting there, and they were in PSA slabs or they were in one touches. And then I had a $20 Jorge Posada card inside of a G1 because we had made that for Jorge. And these cards are sitting on the table in front of Brian Smith, and he moves these like $30,000 cards. Like he kind of shoves them out of the way, and then picks up the G1 and he's like cradling it. And he's like, "Oh, this is so special, Brian. This is so special. I want to get, this card in one. I want to get this card in one. And can you also make me a display for all my World Series rings," kind of stuff, right? And I was like, and we thought that was a really interesting touch point. We're like, oh my gosh, he didn't care at all about the value of those cards because his perceived value was that this thing was worth way more than those were, no matter what. And so we wanted to make sure that this was, this is for display. It's for offices. It's for your wall. We're building our wall displays on our webs. Actually, I think we took it down, but we're building these just ridiculous wall displays that are stunning, that use like LEDs and LCD readouts. So when you put your card on the wall, it reads out and tells you what the name of the card is, and grade.
Have you built a stand for those too? Like if I want to just have that on my desk and stare at it all day, is there a
not yet? Stand? No, we have a desk stand that's going to come out later this year. But the prime prize of our is the Mint wall display, which it's the one that anytime we ever put up a video on our channels about the Mint wall display, it always goes viral because people
that's
are like,
a big seller.
Well, we haven't started selling it yet because it's a very complex, and that one we're trying to find a way to bring price down. I have some ideas there, but it's the one where both hobby cases and G1s can fit on it, and it's just a thing of beauty. It really is. It's what James Bond would have on his wall if he was a collector.
Oh, I like James Bond. Yeah.
Yeah.
Moneypenny. Yeah, Q. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, it's what Q would have designed for James Bond for his wall if Bond was a card collector. And
can't wait to see
that later this year. But it's unbelievable.
I think this will make sense to you. I hope it does. So much of value in collecting and other consumer products is perceptive, right? I mean, well, almost all of the sports card market is perceptive value. Why is a Wayne Gretzky rookie? There's no underlying intrinsic fundamental that declares its value. And these G1 cases, they look expensive, and I think that's an important part of being able to charge at that. Like, you have to look at it and be able to perceive the value of the case, not just understand the specifications and the materials that went into it.
You're entirely correct. It's the perceived value. Like we use these, chamfered corners with chrome that make it where I had a few of these on a table in West Hollywood for lunch one day, showing a colleague, and this group of women walked by and they immediately stopped and they're like, "What is that? What are those?" Really? Yeah. And the one woman goes, "I work at Neiman Marcus Christmas catalog." She goes, "That looks like jewelry for men." And she goes, "If you were to market these towards women who are looking for gifts for their man who has everything, if the guy already has his golf clubs and he's got his whiskey tumblers and he's got all the other things that a guy would want, now if you put his favorite card into a G1, so one of the things we're going to be doing is selling pre-encapsulated cards. So I'm going to put like 1,000 Griffey Jr. rookies into these things, and then selling them on our website as a pre-encapsulated cards, and then we're marketing that to women's like influencers and catalogs so that they can buy a pre-encapsulated Griffey Jr. rookie card inside of a G1 case. And now they have a gift idea for their man who has everything. So the perceived value of these it's just not even comparable. I can put any PSA case, doesn't matter the value of the card. I could put a Mickey Mantle PSA 8 into somebody's hand and put any one of these cases side by side for somebody that's uninitiated, that's not in the hobby, and they would immediately go, by far, this is worth more every single time.
Will you ever in the future, a guy like me, when I found out that that card is in there and I have to send it back to you to get it out, that surprised me. So in the future, this is all new, and I mean, you guys got to get some income soon, right? I mean, I know you're being very generous with your launch, but in the future, will there maybe be a modified product where I can interchange my cards? Like your entry point one, more like?
Yeah, exactly. The intention is to do an entire ecosystem of products.
Okay,
amazing. G1, we've started with the hobby case, but we have something that's called the hybrid case that's going to be very special. In fact, we have two different kinds of hybrid cases. We have a binder that's in like a new way of redesigning the entire binder experience. That's very, very cool. We have desk stand, and then we're going to be building this all out for every possible vertical. So comic books, coins, shoes, bottles of wine, artwork, it doesn't matter. So the mint story was never meant to be trading cards. Trading cards is what I love, but I wanted to build displays and protections for every possible kind of collectible. I always thought, it's a shame that usually most of the ways that people can get their collections displayed is they go to the local frame shop and see what they can do. And it's usually, it's never that cool. And so we thought, let's find a way to be able to kind of democratize it all, make everything a lot more accessible, have various tiered price points from hobby case all the way up to the G1. And when I showed the case to Derek Jeter and his team, I ended up making one for Derek. And he goes, can you actually put some black diamonds around the edge? And so because of the kind of steel that we use, you can embed diamonds or jewels or whatever you want. So
you can bling it out?
Yeah, you could bling it out if you want to. So essentially, I want to be able to, and even with a hobby case, I want to bring the cost of that down even as far as we can, even if it becomes a loss leader to us, because I want there to be a full kind of stratified pricing thing. And then with our platform that we're building with this technology and our content and what we're doing with athletes over the next year, when we this time next year, we'll have the full business plan out. We'll have most of our core products out. And so it's really cool what we're doing. And it's the right people that are, Mint is a very happy place for people to work at. So it's been a really cool experience, and I love where it's all going. And I think you guys are going to love it too.
I have one more feature question about the G1. And it's a big deal and a big issue in owning, especially high value cards that are autographed. I'm sure you've seen it too, but we've all seen examples of maybe like a Sidney Crosby. I'm going to talk in the hockey world here, a Cup RPA out of 99, a very iconic and special card where somebody left it out in the sun too long and the auto's faded. Do you guys have autograph protection or even card protection from fading? And because the sun is the enemy of
the sun is the enemy.
Yeah,
so is humidity. Humidity is bad for cards.
Death to humidity. We need the sun, boys. Sorry to say. We need the sun.
Yeah, humidity, temperature, sunlight, like all of it. All of those things are enemies to cards. And we put a lot of cash into kind of IPX testing and UV testing. We have some cards right now that are going inbound to a testing facility, because what we're going to do on our website once we've done public launch is have a whole kind of spec sheet of what people can expect, because we're not telling, like, even though, the kind of glass that we're using on the internal piece, there's an internal kind of a pane of glass, which is technically the very best UV protection in the world. It's called TrueView museum grade glass, and it's the best there is. But I still would not stick my G1 case just right in the sun, right? Funny enough, I have a couple of G1s just sitting outside right now in the Huntington Beach sun as a test for my own purposes, because I don't want any of my autographs to fade. I love my blue autographs, right?
Pretty sure the Sun's undefeated, so I'm not going to hold it against you if you.
No, you're entirely correct. Cards will fade, and I just want to be able to tell customers what they can expect in the best, most honest terms we can. So I'm not going to ever tell anyone go put your G1 right next to your solar farm and see how long it lasts. It calls it 99%, but I personally still don't trust something that says 99%. And so we're going to give everyone the information in the same way that I would want to know the information, and let people make their own decisions.
Mm-hmm. Well, you've got a very interesting company, and I like your approach. Whether it's your 35-point hobby case, which retails for $25, or to get on the wait list for the G1, are you purely direct to consumer right now, or are you working with hobby shops or other retailers?
Yeah, we've got, in fact, our very first retailer we started selling mint hobby cases at the Baseball Hall of Fame. I thought that'd be a place for us to start. So if you go to the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, you'll see a whole rack of hobby cases up on the wall. I thought that'd be a nice place.
There's the Hockey Hall of Fame, the international one, is in Toronto.
Oh, is it
Canada.
Really?
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
Say,
just letting you know.
I'm a Vancouver Canadian. My
family... right on. Okay, good, nice.
Yeah, mom's full Canadian. Grew up in West Vancouver, and I was raised as a Canucks fan as a kid.
Sorry.
So yeah,
you had Pavel Bure.
Somebody had
got that.
Right? Somebody has to be a Canucks fan, right? Yeah. And so, I definitely want to go to the Hockey Hall of Fame. But we're selling these in Baseball Card Exchange outside Chicago. We've got there's probably about 8 card shops right now that are piloting these. We're also selling them on Amazon and Walmart. And so like Amazon and Walmart will have various coupons and kind of deal days. The prices come down substantially. But the plan is to kind of get these everywhere. We've got some hobby shops in England and Italy that are going to start holding our products.
Is there a good weight to it? They look heavy. I want weight. There's got to be some weight, right?
I'm so glad you asked that question. Okay. Here's the first reaction anyone does with the G1, without question.
Okay.
Oh wow, that's got some heft to it.
Oh, literally, good. That's what I want. Yeah.
That goes back to perceived value, though, right? Weight is it?
Like I want to hold this bastard, you know? Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
So even though these two cases are kind of same size, the hobby case very lightweight. The G1 immediately boom. It's heavier than an iPhone. Like it's just a few grams heavier than an iPhone. So it just has this. Okay. It's hard to say. It's like this cold steel feeling in your hand, and when you hold it, you don't want to let go of it.
Okay.
It's better. It's one of those things that we always tell people. You're not supposed to overpromise and then underdeliver.
No kidding.
What we noticed with the G1 is it's the kind of thing where I can talk about it as much as I want, but every single time that someone holds it in their hands, they go, "Now I get it."
It sells itself.
Yeah,
that's what you want.
Every
right?
time. I'm most
well,
likely. Yeah.
I'm in Canada, Brian. Like, when can I hold one? Like, if I don't come to you, do you come up here? Do you send a team up here for card shows?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to send myself to Toronto now. Are you in Toronto?
Yeah, there you go.
No, he's in Ottawa.
Go to the beach, grab some ladies, bring them up, do a whole thing. It'll be awesome, man. I'll show you around.
I spent a lot of my summers going to Barrie and Guelph and Lake Wasaga, so I know that area quite well.
Beach. Right on.
So I'll come up to Toronto and I'll show you one in person.
You'll have a great time, Brian. If you come up to the show in at the end of April, you'll make connections. Not that obviously you clearly have connections, but make more connections. Networking's great.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I need to network in the hockey space. Hockey. I've been cruel and have neglected my hockey brothers and sisters. And so,
we're passionate. There's no bigger passion in the hobby industry. So you come up here, you'll have people that are fiscally irresponsible buying your product.
Yeah, let me know.
I'll be one of them.
I totally need to do this, and you let me know the important dates I need to be in Toronto.
We'll talk after. Yeah. No worries. Thank you so much. Congratulations on you've worked for 5 years to get to this point, and I have a lot of respect for anyone who's willing to put that much effort and passion into creating something for the hobby. If you want to check out Mint's products, their website's mintiverse.com. No I, a number one. So M1 and then N-Tiverse.com. But if you just search, anytime you search Mint, replace the I with the numeral one, you'll be fine. And they're very easy to find online, just in Google searches. And can't wait to see how your launch goes and new products you have coming out. Thanks so much for taking the time today.
Really enjoyed being here. Thank you so much, my Canadian brothers.
Thank you again to Brian for taking the time to join the show. Well, boys, I have to admit, after that conversation and learning more about the G1, I'm a lot closer to seeing the value of $1,000 than I was before we started. And here's the thing. I'm worried now that when we get one in hand, it's going to be so cool that my brain's going to immediately go to, how do I get one of these? And I don't even know if I have a card that's worth it enough to justify being in a $1,000 case, but I don't know. What did you guys think? What were your takeaways from the combo?
Phil's face when he said $1,000 was the best part of the interview. He just it didn't process in his brain correctly.
It was a few days ago. I don't remember.
It was amazing. I watched the interview last night, and so that was great. But I will say this, I'm now oh man, I'm just oh man, how much money am I going to spend on this hobby in displays? Because the things he talked about and his visions of the things that are to come, it's kind of exciting. And I'm thinking of my office and what I can do. And yeah, I mean, I'm glad that it's not going to be 1,000, because didn't he say it's going to be more like 500? But still,
well, it's going to be all, if you want to grade it and maybe all the options, it'll be 1,000.
Right.
What I've noticed, because of how digital advertising works, now that you go to a website, you check something out, and everything we do is tracked, so we get targeted. I have gotten so many ads of very high-end card displays, this whole cottage industry I never knew existed. And it kind of hit me that, and it does make sense, that as this hobby continues to mature and these values of these cards go up and up, that we would have a product line or product lines of fancy stuff to take care of and keep safe and display our cards.
What he said makes sense. I mean, I love the way Brian started that whole interview. It is insane how we have all these valuable assets and the things we put them in are worth 10 cents. Super silly. It's like buying Canadian Tire tires and putting it on your Lamborghini. Now that's a Canadian Tires, a department store for guys. I don't know how. That's probably not a good explanation.
Well, okay. So you look at a PSA 10 slab. There's value to it because it makes it short print, right? That's the reason why you pay more, not because it's in a slab, but because it makes it more rare. So one of the examples he gave, that Brian gave, was, someone buys a card for X amount of dollars, let's say $10,000, and puts it in one of his slabs that costs $1,000 with all the technology and everything that's in it. That instantly can increase the value of that card, maybe by a couple of $1,000, just because of the holder that it's in and having all that in there.
Yeah, but
don't you think people would pay more for it because it makes it more valuable?
Maybe a little bit. It's like buying a house with an in-ground pool. That you think you're going to get more for your house, you're going to get less.
Yeah, because then you have to take care of the pool.
Yeah, that's how I see that. I'm not knocking the product. I think it's absolutely phenomenal, but I personally would rather it's not in that. And if it was, don't add to the price or I'll shop elsewhere.
And a lot of people that have $1 million cards want them authenticated and the PSA insurance. So I think ultimately if he could, or similar companies could work out a deal with PSA like he has with NBA, where they would come and grade the card. I don't know if PSA would do that though, because what if that card gets opened? Remember he said that,
but there's going to be someone that can.
But he has a grader who's there grading the cards.
Well, he has Mike Baker. Yeah. But I think the hobby would want, if you're taking, well, how would this go totally mainstream? If Brian could work out a deal with PSA where you
That's
could
how.
get it in the G1 and have have your cake and eat it too, have the PSA grade. I just don't. I think that would be a leap for PSA to put their grade and their authentication on a case that's not a PSA case, where they can't control if somebody, because he said that he has the laser machine to open it. Well, what happens if he opens it, bends the card in half, puts it back in? Now, it removes a lot of controls away from PSA. So I think they would have to have a agreement about that.
You would need a PSA representative at his location. Like the logistics would be quite trying to figure out. Do you think Mike Baker's and his team, I'm sure, are phenomenal graders, but all it's going to take is there will come a time, let's say things are rocking and rolling in 7 years, you get a Mike Baker, I don't know what the right terminology is, but you get a G1 card with a Mike Baker 10 on it. And you're like, oh, I'm going to sell this card. And the guy you're selling it to says, I don't want it in that. I want it in a PSA slab. And then you're like, well, obviously it's going to grade a PSA 10. Mike said it's a 10. What if it gets a 9? What do you do? That all it takes is one story. I mean, it's Brian, what an amazing product, but look at all the possibilities of some solutional situations.
How many cards do you guys own that, irrespective of the value or quality of the case,
None.
that would justify even being in $1,000 case?
Yeah, that's the tough one. I mean, I don't know if Brian really wants this to go mainstream in that way, because
Probably not.
it's a top of the line product that deserves maybe top of the line cards to go in it.
Yeah,
I'm not putting a $500 card in a case that's worth more than the card.
Well, even
It reminds me of
$5,000.
that old, sorry, Phil, it reminds me of that old saying that only a high school boy would buy a $500 car and put a $4,000 stereo in it.
Yes.
Our generation's the only one that you can give that scenario to. There's
That
no
is
other
something
generation.
Remember, like the Alpine and Pioneer
Yeah,
systems that we
yeah.
would put in our piece of crap cars.
Yes. I had a 76 Honda Civic, baby, and I like tricked out the stereo system when I took it to college, and it was worth more than the car was. Yeah,
Dave was the coolest Mormon on campus.
totally rocking.
So let's say I want to put my Gretzky all-time
Future Watch,
future
that's what
watch.
I'm thinking about. That's what
Yeah.
I was thinking of.
Let's value that at $5,000, okay? I'm not putting 20% into the case. Like I'm not paying 20% of the card to house it, unless that's what more financially.
If you're a
responsible
Benjamin
people
B
do.
guy,
I
this
mean,
product makes a lot more sense.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think Brian's looking at it because when he first started, this whole venture, I think he was looking for it to be more mainstream. But then as he got going and started realizing like how much this was going to cost and how much funds he had to put into it, I think it turned into something that's for the best of the best. And so you market towards those people, you market towards athletes or the Benjamin P's of the world who don't mind dropping $1,000 to put their card in a phenomenal looking case that they can display at their house. And that's
as they should. I think you should. Yeah. Keep it high end. Imagine the circles like you're running around with. I think a premium product deserves a premium clientele. I guess us three nibbling at the bit, but maybe not yet,
maybe some
Dolphins need not apply, Phil. Dolphins need not apply.
Yeah, we're porpoises. Sorry, we're close. We're swimming upstream. We're trying.
He did talk about other products that he was working on that are coming out in the future too. And so that's where when he was talking about those things, I was just like, oh man, I know I'm going to be buying those in the future. Like some of the things he was talking about.
And let's listen, we keep saying $1,000. Brian ended that interview, that awesome interview, with a big piece of information. It's 500 now. It's 500. Not
starting at 500.
1,000.
I think it's all of car, which is smart, where it can be
Super
if you don't
smart,
want to grade it or stuff
So
like
that makes me right off the bat. It's like, you make that 380 plus tax, all said and done, under 500 at some point. Maybe I will put my Gretzky in there, but I can't take it out. That's something I'd have to,
There's also like, I don't know. He talked, I forgot what I was going to say. Never mind. Keep going.
Hanging around me too much, Dave. Are you getting in my medicine?
Do we need a button for you too, Dave?
That was another Baba Louie Hobby hot take.
It happens. I'm old, man.
He's trying to steal your thunder, Louis.
If you weren't so long-winded, you wouldn't forget your next topic.
I know. Shoot. All right.
I don't find Dave long-winded.
How do we convince you to put a Shane Pinto Young Guns in $1,000?
Oh, stop. Okay, what's the next segment?
Okay.
Leave my Shane out of this.
I remember what I was going to say.
No, we've moved on. Josh has announced the next segment.
It's amazing that after that whole thing and he basically found like his true followers, the people that gave him $1,000 for this holder. And then he refunded all of them. That's
pretty
amazing.
nice.
So,
what a character, though. Like, I know we just met Brian, but everything. Listen, funding a passion project like that into the millions, you are top notch in my books, brother. You are top notch. Obviously, Brian's a good speaker. He's got a good presence, but that's an action. That's not just words, and that's very telling to me. I'm so happy we met him. Very excited to watch his journey, and I just want to hold one. I just want to hold one of those things in my hand. You know,
got to get him to come out to the expo. So
we're trying. Yeah. I can't believe
awesome.
When he's like, you guys think I should come? We're like, yes, you definitely should.
100%.
100,000,000%. All you need is like 4 customers that buy 10 each. You're laughing. You know,
anybody that innovates in the hobby, I'm a big fan of. Even if it never takes off, it sounds like that people are really responding to this and that Brian is taking every step necessary to make the product successful. But sometimes even in products that don't end up ultimately working out to the degree people want, there's maybe a part of the technology or something that he can use later or shows up in a later product that, you know, moving the ball forward technology wise in the hobby, I think is a very good thing. So good luck to Brian. Thank you again to him. And now new product releases brought to you by Gongshow friend and partner GP Sport Cards and Total Sport Cards. Check out gpsportcards.com. Get your spots for Grant's Friday night breaks. He still has some reloaded left, probably getting down to the end of it now. But it's your last chance then because it's all that's left of the 2026 Volume 1. You can also hit up Grant at his hobby shop in Etobicoke called Total Sport Cards. Sell him your collection. He always needs cards, or pick up the latest hobby releases, maybe even some singles there. And if you're not in the GTA, you can buy all your hobby boxes in Canada on their website at totalsportcards.com. They'll ship anywhere you live in the country. So we kind of referenced a few minutes ago that we're in this lull. We're in a new product lull. And so on our new product releases segment, I had to do a little tap dancing here, get a little creative. But I found something that is new product releases adjacent that was very, very interesting and had a lot of fun digging into. So I found data on the most graded by PSA hockey set years of all time. And so again, what I mean by that is 2015, 2016. How many of those products were graded by PSA, or 2018, 2019 sort of thing. And Louis, feel free to jump on if you have any comments on any of these years. And so I just did the top 10. We'll count them down. I also found some interesting factoids for each year. And I think there's going to be years that really surprise you guys, that where there's a lot of graded cards where you're like, really? The first one, number 10, the 10th most, is 1979, 1980 products that have had 73,845 cards graded by PSA. 27,792 of those cards, or 38%, are either the O-Pee-Chee or Topps Wayne Gretzky rookies. Makes sense. He's the GOAT of hockey and the GOAT of the hobby. But it is kind of, I think, noteworthy that when you think of 1979-80 hockey, other than Grandpa Gordie Howe crunched over in the Whalers jersey and a Bobby Smith rookie, there's really nothing else that is that noteworthy. So the fact that the number 10 most graded product year of all time is 1979-80, which is basically on the back of one single card, well, two, if you consider O-Pee-Chee and Topps. I thought that was a little impressive.
Yeah, very cool.
Okay.
I would have thought it'd be higher, to be honest.
Yeah, well, there's some surprises here. Number 9 is kind of a... Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I'm surprised that out of all of that, only 38% of it is Gretzky. Like, I think that would be higher.
Yeah. A lot of base cards, I guess, Scott, of other random players. Number 9 surprised me that it's this low. 2015-16. 74,744 cards have been graded by PSA. even more so impressive than Wayne, 38,456 of those, or 51%, are Connor McDavid rookie cards. So there's a lot more sets. There's a bigger variety of McDavid rookies. Obviously, one of the biggest hype rookie chases. And again, though, once we get further down the list, I think you guys will find it interesting how many more product lines have expanded in the hobby, and maybe even how much bigger the hobby has gotten, because the fact that this is only the 9th most graded product year of all time, and it's now McDavid's rookie, I thought that was a little surprising. I mean, and especially too, there's some other decent rookies. There's Hellebuck and Panarin, Phil's man crush, Dylan Larkin, 2015.
Yeah.
So
Well, they had increased the print run, especially in flagship for 2015-16. But as far as the number of product lines that they had back then, is probably quite a few less than what they have now.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes sense, you know?
Okay.
Well, it's not 10 years to accumulate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got to. I mean, I'm assuming Bedard's year is ahead of us to talk about, but I still think that's pretty strong for 2015. I think that's pretty good.
How much do you think product is left out there unopened? 2015, 16?
I can't be a ton.
I think it's mostly opened up.
$1,000 a box, I guess, on average, give or take a few hundo. I'm not buying that. I don't think.
To
other
Phil's
people are
point,
either.
I think that they printed a lot more than in 2014, but in comparison today, it's probably would look like peanuts.
Yeah, agree with that.
So maybe the biggest shock. Wow, there's a lot of ones that really surprised me. Number 8, more than 2015-16 was 1971-72 products, where 79,795 cards have been graded by PSA. Now, 79 O-Pee-Chee is one of them, or 71 O-Pee-Chee is one of the most iconic sets. You have the Ken Dryden, Guy Lafleur, and of course Marcel Dion, rookie. But it makes you think that they must have produced a lot in 1971 if about 80,000 cards have been graded between Topps and O-Pee-Chee.
Dude, I'm telling you, 72, 73 is the most produced set of all time. I don't care what you're telling. Every single garage sale I went to in Canada, my parents dragged me to all of them, had thousands of 72, 73 cards. I'm telling you. I said this to Jeremy Lee a couple of years ago. He burst out laughing. There is a reason why.
I'm
and
sure.
He goes, that is true. Yeah, they're very abundant up here. So I'm assuming they probably printed a boatload of 71, 72 as well. But they're so off center, man. But those cards are a dead giveaway. The way the crescent font at the top. I mean, it's got to be like 55-45, or that card is very visibly not good.
You're a vintage expert, Dave. So why don't you enlighten us with some great analysis about 1971-72? Make this make sense.
I have nothing. Wait,
Shocking.
None of us were even born then.
Yeah, I know.
yeah, I wasn't even born. I wasn't born until 76. Well, neither were you guys. So
I'm an 81 baby. Yeah, 80s all the way.
That's crazy. We're 70. Yeah.
Yeah, 7. That's, I don't know how do you sleep at night?
I can't believe I'm turning 50 this year. This is crazy. I really feel like I am not 50 years old. I remember my dad turning 50 and thinking he was so old, and now I'm turning 50. It's insane.
We're old.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
Number 7, 24-25 products. So far, 84,102 cards have been graded by PSA. I would imagine a year from now, this would be a lot higher on the list.
Yeah.
So we've gone through the percentage of McDavid rookies, and we talked about the percentage of Wayne rookies in 1979-80. Only about 19% of 24-25 products graded cards to date are Celebrinis at 16,178.
Because they're all sitting at PSA.
Yeah, I'm sure that there's probably 40,000 there right now.
Crazy about Celebrini until like December, January. So then everyone started opening boxes and sending everything in. So in like 2 months 4 months, when everyone starts getting their submission back, this is going to shoot way up.
Yeah. Number 6 is 2019-20 products with 86,150 hockey cards graded by PSA. So here we have Jack Hughes, Quinn Hughes, Nick Suzuki. Really the beginning of the stay-at-home time boom. So here's the thing. We have to address something on the show. YouTube does not like the C word or the P word. and it makes it really inconvenient to talk about the hockey hobby around 2020.
I don't know what either of those. Like, we don't say
COV something something PAND.
Oh, really?
Oh, they hate it.
Do we talk about it often?
Well, it's almost impossible not to when you're talking about
true.
hobby markets, and so that's why I call it stay-at-home time.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
try
stay at
to-
home. What's the the pan?
And
Yeah.
yeah, it thinks that we're like getting political with the bit.
Oh,
When every time you mention that stuff, and it's super annoying. So yeah, so that's why I say stay at home time. You did have huge gem rates on young gun. The Jack Hughes Young Guns was a really big deal in the hobby for a couple of years, and so I think that was a big reason or catalyst for so many of those the 2019-20 cards that get graded. Gem rate of Jack Hughes is still 72%, which is wild in comparison to most cards. Okay, number 5 might be the most surprising one. Would you believe that in 2022-23 products that 104,808 cards have been graded?
isn't that the peak of the stay-at-home time though?
But I
22,
think they were
23, what is
behind
that?
though. I think it was on the tail
Veneers?
end of it.
What is that, veneers?
Yeah,
here?
Veneers.
Is that? Oh,
Kofsky.
Bingo?
Yeah.
Caulfield?
No, he was
Shane
20,
Wright.
No,
21.
that's after. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, sorry.
Shane Wright, Slavkovsky,
Boldy,
Veneers.
Beniers.
Yeah, Boldy. Yeah.
I think that's peak stay-at-home time. I think that's when the problems were happening, right? The backups and it's the only explanation I got.
Well, the one we
Also-
haven't mentioned might end up being the best one out of that year too. Wyatt Johnston has got like 45
yeah.
goals this year.
Yeah,
crazy.
that's not why though.
I wonder too, like 21-22 had such a good class, like maybe not amazing superstars, but so many good quality people you could grade that when 22-23 came along, maybe people were just sending in a lot of grading for the ho-hum players that
And that's
people
Italy.
didn't normally grade.
22-23 is when they started printing Italy flagship in Italy. 21-22 was was a bit of a mess, right? Gem rates were like 20%.
Well, speaking of that, so at number 4 is 2021-22. 107,542 cards have been graded. To your point, Dave, we started this show the week Series 2021-22 Series 2 came out. And not so much of a chase now, but as you guys remember, Mo Sider and Lucas Raymond were significant hobby
Huge.
chases for
yeah.
that. Mo Sider Young Guns was going for $100, $140 US at the time. I mean, it was pretty solid. And before that, in Series 1, you had Zegers and Caulfield, which were obviously big chases. And I just think the hobby was bigger because of the P word, the stay-at-home time at this point, and that fueled a lot of it.
I added
number-
to those numbers for 21-22.
I'm
I
sure.
graded that's the most I've ever
When you were
graded
doing
with
grade
that
and
year.
flip, that was your hobby.
Well, here's my problem
entrepreneurism.
with my grade and flip. I graded them to flip them, but then I held on to them for 3 years and all the value tanked. I didn't realize to grade and flip, you were supposed to actually flip it right away. And so I learned a very hard lesson because I was like, oh my gosh, Rebecca, you know how much money I made because I gemmed 75% of the cards that I submitted and then I held them all and then I lost all the value.
I see you're a graduate of the Phil School of Business and hockey card collecting.
Yeah, I am. Entrepreneur at its best.
Oh yeah.
Number 3 is 2020-21. 109,043 cards graded to date by PSA. Here we're in the stay-at-home time effect is in full force. The entire hobby is booming. We had huge rookie class that everyone was going after. You had Laffy, Kaprizov, Timmy Tantrums, J-Rob were probably the 4 highlights. And then to what we were just talking about, this is probably the rise of the hobby entrepreneur when everyone not just rediscovered cards, but they rediscovered them in a way where it's like, I'm going to become a millionaire at this time. And
I'm going to outsmart my neighbor with the exact same 90s collection I have.
I'm going to outbox
And gem
the
rates
box.
were high. Gem
What-
rates
yeah.
were
what number?
high for young guys.
What number are we on right now?
Three.
Three.
Number
Third
one's
most.
obviously 1990, right? Like that's had 40 years to accumulate. 30.
We'll
You're
see.
gonna find out.
Oh, okay. Well, it has to be. There's no way it's not. There's
Number
no way.
2 is 1990, 91.
Oh, come on. How is? Oh, okay.
With
That's cool.
162,899 cards graded to date by PSA. Of course, 1990 represents the apex of the junk wax era, which also collided with a large amount of Hall of Fame rookies. You have Jaromir Jagr, Sergei Fedorov, Pavel Bure, just to name a few. As an example, one card alone, the 1990 O-Pee-Chee Premier Jaromir Jagr rookie has been graded 13,400 times by PSA. That single card represents about 8% of all 1990 hockey cards graded ever. I know none of these cards are worth a ton, but I will always love dearly the 1990 sets. And it starts with Upper Deck, the first Upper Deck hockey set, and then O-Pee-Chee Premier, maybe two of my favorite sets of all time.
Is
And
that the
a lot
one
of
with Bure and sitting on the wall with his rollerblades on? Is that
No, that's Bloodlines. That's the season after.
okay?
That's with Valerie, Mr. Bergman,
Valerie, yeah.
Valerian Steele. Yes, please.
Which makes number one. 2023-24. 197,961 cards graded by PSA. Bedardapalooza represent, boys.
Yeah, how many? Can we guess how many percentage?
How many Connor Bedard base cards have been graded by PSA? Base
Didn't
young-
you say, you just said it earlier? Was it like 16, 17,000? Okay, I'll do percent. I bet you that.
Hey,
I bet
that's
you it-
Young Guns. I'm telling you,
Base
like
Young
people
Guns.
were grading every Bedard card they hit. People were sending everything in that was Bedard.
I
think-
I only have the data for his base young guns.
Oh, okay.
So you have to guess.
Okay.
For base Young Guns, I say 10% of that whole number. That's my guess. I think I'm under, but I'm trying to play it safe.
What's the overall number?
197,961.
So I say
So
20,000.
10% would be
Yeah.
19,000. Right?
Would be 19,700.
Yeah. So
I'm
yeah,
saying
probably
10%
right
of the
around
whole shebang, whatever that works out to. I think that's safe.
there. Yep. Same.
Yeah, 19,000 exact copies
No
of Connor
kidding.
Bedard's base young guns have been graded by PSA. No other single hockey card ever has been graded more by PSA. Not McDavid Young Guns, neither of the Gretzky rookies, not the
Jagr?
1990 O-Pee-Chee Premier Jagr. No other card has ever been graded more than Connor Bedard's base Young Gun.
You know what's crazy about that? Think about how much product is still sitting on people's shelves. I bet you there's so much
Because nobody bought the
unopened.
boxes because they were $400.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. There's probably so much of it lying around too. So
I
that
just want the
kinda
red
shows
outburst.
you the print run.
There's so many red outbursts in there. Jake Sanderson's outburst is in there, and
Yeah.
there's other rookies from that
It's in
year.
prison. It's in prison.
Ridiculous.
I wonder what percent of pulled or pack open Bedard base young guns have been graded versus raw. That has to be the highest percentage of all time. To your point, because so many is probably sitting in boxes, that would you be shocked if 70% of cards that have opened that were sent to some grading company?
No, not at all. It's probably way
Yeah,
more than that.
I
It's probably 90.
and I think there could possibly be 50% of the boxes produced still not open.
Maybe.
So does that mean it doesn't? If Bedard plays phenomenal, let's say he's the leading goal scorer next year, that isn't by the law of averages. Doesn't the price just go down? I mean that is a boatload
Well,
of cards.
it has been going down. Like
No, but I'm saying I'm throwing in a curveball saying he's going to play even better next year. They'll make the playoffs. I mean, there's not enough people in our hobby that collect cards to keep up. That's the math doesn't work.
Well, I think there's about 7,700 Bedard Young Guns PSA 10s, and there's 40,000 more of us poke Pikachu in a gray hat.
Yeah, but
and they're
listen,
going
we're
for
not-
thousands.
I know Pokemon's doing hot, and I know it's rocket ships run out of fuel and land sometimes.
Fair.
I'd much rather be on cruise control like us right now. And we're going a little quick, that's fine, but you can just unclick cruise control pretty good and you're still on Earth. Pokemon's not on Earth right now, and I think they're going to realize that.
$775 US was the last sale of a Bedard Young Guns PSA 10.
And when I went to go look at boxes for 24-25 with Schaefer Young Guns, when I went to go look at those, I was shocked that to buy a box that has a chance to hit a Schaefer Young Guns was only $5 cheaper than a Bedard Young Guns box. And that was like just when it started booming. Now I think it's over.
Well, there's
Well,
a
we-
price point that people are willing to pay, and that at some point the free market wins. So all these boxes were priced at $400, and most people said, "I'm out." And now they're
yes, it's the reverse way. I have no problem. The market calls for, when I went to buy a couple of Celebrini boxes, and Jimmy racked me up, and he was like 800 and blah blah. I was like, what?
Yeah, no.
I had no anger, nothing. Why? Because it makes sense. You can sell it for that. It didn't start at that. I have zero. I hope most people don't have problems with that. If people are willing to pay it, I'm sorry, you got to get out of the way. But when you start at that $3.99, that was the beef. That is,
Right.
and now we still can't get them because they're still not cheap. You know, that was a big bobo.
all right. Well,
Will we
I thought that was fun.
ever see, like, I mean, they'll have to eat some cost, right? Like if dealers got the boxes for, let's throw out a number, $250 at cost, that you're gonna have to take a hit at some point, right? Like you're gonna have to break even at it. And I mean, I'd pick
Talking
some up
about
for
which product? 250.
Bedard Series 2.
No, I think they got it at, yeah.
Well,
The
no, but for
normal
my
price.
scenario, let's say it's 250. Let's
Okay.
say I don't think so, but let's say it is. Let's say it's a bit higher. Would they? I would, if I owned a store, I would drop it to 199 just to clear inventory, and I'd use that money for better other product, maybe lost cost fallacy.
Yeah,
you know?
you got to move inventory.
You got to move it, man. Yeah.
And you have to look at the long term too, and what's more likely that EX2000. Let's pick on that again for a second.
Sure.
So if it's lost half the value, to your point, you're better off freeing up. Cash is king in every business. You're better off freeing up cash, taking a 50% hit, and using that money to make 20% of that money back, versus taking the risk that in 10 years you'd break even on your boxes again, and then you get really like financial and geeky and look at the present value of money and all that stuff too. And it just makes no sense to hold that stuff, as you have to move it.
Maybe
but I
at the
think
expo. Maybe at the expo we'll see some boxes for 250 or so. I'd love to pick a couple up. I really
No,
want.
they're cheaper than that. Are you talking about EX2000 or something else?
Oh my God, no! Series 2
EX2000 is way okay.
23-24 Series 2. I am not talking about Josh's set.
No, Phil, Dave mentioned this earlier, and I don't know what it's like in Canada, but it's true here in Minnesota.
What?
2023-24 Series 2 is cheaper than the Matthew Schaefer's now.
Yeah,
The
really?
25-26 Series 2.
Okay.
So
Well,
maybe
I
it'll
really-
be at
190.
In Canadian money, because we'll be in Toronto. I bet you they're selling boxes for 250 CAD.
240. Yeah, 240, 250.
240. There you go.
Okay.
So
That'll
maybe
be
it'll be-
exciting.
Yeah. Personal pickups. Philip.
That
Lame.
means nothing.
Dave, did you send any to Louis or no? Who's going next?
I did.
Louis
I
or Dave?
sent two. I sent
Okay.
two to Louis. So, okay. Yeah. So the first one, 21-22 Allure Sidney Crosby 16-bit. So I picked up the Ovechkin. I sniped bid the Ovechkin right from Josh's clenches when I didn't know he was also bidding on it. And I had to pair it up with the Sidney Crosby. So that's the first one. And then yep.
Wait,
And the
can I make
second
a
one-
comment on that card?
Yes.
I think by far, in my opinion, it's not even close that this is the best year of 16-bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think that per the bit is kind of it's losing momentum. I have most interest in these cards, and I think that these are, I'm guessing, significantly less expensive than they were a couple years ago now,
Yeah.
because the new shiny toy thing is kind of over with it.
Yeah. I think I picked this one up for like $325 American.
This probably
First year
$1,000 at some point, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The
So-
first years will still bring it in, though, eh?
Isn't
This
this
is
the
first
first
year.
years? This
Oh, it is the first year. I don't-
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's expensive. 3-4 bills, man. That's bringing it
Yeah,
in.
they're super short print though.
It's
They're
good.
tough odds.
They made it more common as time went on too.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the second card is a 23-24 Ultimate. It's in a CGC graded 10 auto 10 La Collection Ultim patch auto out of 10 of my boy Luke Robitaille.
La
I
Collection.
didn't-
Yeah, Grace
gotta
is
say
with
it.
that French again, Dave? Grace is
La
No,
Collection.
no. You say
La
it, Phil. Thank you.
Collection.
Thank you. La Collection.
La
So-
collect. Oh my god. Oh my god.
No.
Nothing. We're good.
So
La colección ultime.
So here's so I got this card. I'm in love with this card design. I had 2 more chances to get this card earlier and I missed out on it. So I'm very happy to secure this one. Thank you, Louis. And so I'm very happy. But here's my question about this. It shows 2 other cards on the checklist. It shows a Guy Lafleur, which Phil was very excited about until he found out it was a sticker auto.
Which has to be because he had passed away.
Yep. And then the other one is Marc-Andre Fleury. But I've also seen a Chris Letang of this card. So that's where I'm confused is why I've seen
Letang's
Chris
not on the
Letang and
list?
it's not on the checklist. So
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. So there-
EPAC achievement or something? Because Ultimate is a big
maybe.
EPAC product.
maybe it was an EPAC achievement. So I don't know. Maybe someone knows. Mystery, hobby mystery.
LaFleur
great
could have
cards, Dave.
signed. LaFleur could have signed. He died in 2022, I believe. And Billy says it takes about 1 to 2 years to make the cards. So the cards were available before. Maybe we just missed it just barely, but it was close.
Billy
That'd
was
been nice.
by his bedside trying to get him to sign it real quick. And it
Oh
just-
my God, he probably would be if he could be. Yeah, and Guy would smile and say, "No problem."
I like this card, Dave. Good grab.
Yeah, this,
I do too.
This one's beautiful. And I was planning on cracking it out of the CGC holder until I got it. Those holders are amazing.
Yeah,
They're
right.
awesome, aren't they?
Beautiful. So I am not cracking it out. I like it in the holder.
Mhm.
As far as symbols or icons go, the Fleur de Lis is up there with the best of them.
That's it. Those are my 2.
Right on.
Well,
What?
for everyone that's been excited about Macklin Celebrini, I'm sad to report that the dream has died. The crash is coming because Josh is now an entrepreneur.
Oh boy.
I
Oh,
broke the
I gotta
seal.
Skip to you now. Okay.
Oh,
I see
well,
how
we're
this
going to you.
goes.
Yeah, skip to me, and then we'll go to because now I'm sorry, I got excited. Can you do that?
Do what? Skip to you?
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
we'll go back to you.
Absolutely. That'd be me.
That's
that'd
my
be you.
bad. Like I said, the dream has died. I took the plunge. These Ultra Power cards from 2024 Flair Ultra are amazing. And actually, I got to thank our boy Canada's Yosemite Sam Carter, who's been hounding me about these. Those Ultra Power, they're amazing. You gotta have them. And here's why it took this card for me to get into the Macklin Celebrini business. He has his mouth shut. It's the hockey mouth thing on a lot of his cards gets me every time. And then you have what a sweet image of him shooting the puck like that.
It's awesome.
You don't get that often. And these cards have they literally have like glitter texture. Like if you rub it too hard, you'll rub the glitter off the cards.
Oh.
So you have to be careful. They're
Like
amazing.
snow dust?
Yeah, a little bit. It's not like it's very unique from a printing standpoint. It was spendy. It was about like $500. So
Wow.
Holy crap. I didn't know
you
they're that
can't get into
spendy.
the Brini game. I mean, it's a high cost of entry.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, good for you, man. I can't wait to
What?
see this card in hand.
Slap Sharks,
Yeah,
what
no,
I-
that caught me right off guard. Wow.
Holotypes are still cheap. You can still pick up like a holotype for like
This sounds
$100.
this sounds a little more than
Yeah,
all.
It's
these
numbered
are
out of
really-
50 where
Yeah.
the
Yes.
holotypes are ratioed.
Yeah.
But
And I love that. The out of 50 is that's beautiful.
yeah, and then there's a yellow out of 10. And I spent way too much on the Crosby color match of that one. That'll be coming. So now Carter got
for
you
Josh to
hooked
sell more
on
cards.
the Ultra Powers. So, yeah. Sorry.
So is
Dave.
it a PETG card?
No.
No, okay. It's cardboard.
Yeah, it's just got many layers of and it's very textured. Like you want to touch it, but you're afraid that like it's very sparkly. Like
Well,
all
if
those little
sparkles-
dots.
Yeah, if that comes off, is that a good thing in your world? If parts of my hockey card come off, I'm nervous.
It's kind of like it feels like sandpaper a little bit.
Oh, grit. It's
Grit. Yeah, it's got grit.
Interesting.
Okay.
Thank you. So very
I'm
unique.
very curious. Yeah.
And I also got the Kaprizov, which was pretty cheap. I got the green color match there. Coming.
So is the 10 yellow or gold? Does it say yellow?
It's a yellow, it's a canary yellow, Phil. Which
I like that.
why I had to get the Crosby, because you don't get many Crosby color matches.
Nope.
And I'm very excited to see how that looks. Carter got the OV and has been rubbing it into my face for about 2 months. So
I thought he lives in Saskatoon. He moved to Minnesota?
he just flies here to rub stuff in my face. That's gross. I should have said that.
And then
Wait a minute.
that's why Josh always has glitter all over his face.
I know, right? I know. His lips are all glossy all the time.
Rewind. Where's the rewind button? Don't you have that, Louis? Where's the rewind
It
button?
always smells like Bud Light and stripper glitter over there.
Well, that's a great transition into Louis' pickups.
Yeah.
Oh, no, yeah, it's totally cool. Let me tell you guys, Panini for the win.
Oh,
Yes.
Card
Nice.
is sick.
Nice card.
2013-14 Panini Playbook, a limited edition jersey out of 99. Mikey Moe in his North Stars garb. Beautiful card. Love it.
Best North
I don't
Stars
know.
jerseys with the black breezers with the stars on the. Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
Incredible card.
Amazing.
Incredible card. Any Minnesota North Star color match card is top 3 best team color match cards to have in your collection. Right up there with Pittsburgh Penguins, I tell you.
I'm less mad that our team moved than that whoever was in charge here didn't insist that we get to keep our name. You know how sometimes teams move and like the Browns got to keep their name when the Baltimore Ravens thing? It's stupid that we didn't get to keep the North Stars and that. If
Agreed.
these were our Wild jerseys right now, come on.
You'd have double the fan base.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, you would. Oh,
Well, Dave, thank you very much. Phil, you have fun?
great time. Had super fun. Yeah.
Super fun time.
Super fun times.
Okay. If you like the show, please leave a rating and review on Apple, Spotify, whatever podcast app you listen to us on. If you love the show, you want to support us, want to chat with us on the Hockey Cards Gongshow Discord server, please consider a $5 a month donation. Join our $999 support level tier on Patreon. Link is in the show description, our Instagram, TikTok profiles, and our website, hockeycardsgongshow.com, or on Patreon's website. Just go there, patreon.com, and search for The Gong Show. Follow us on social media. We are on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. And boys, the Hockey Cards Gong Show podcast is a production of Dogbox Ventures, LLC. Have an awesome, what day is it? A weekend? Yeah, we'll be back Monday. We have nothing else to do. Baba Louie, take us out.
Bye.
Yo, it's the Gong Show. We're dropping the facts. Hockey cards on fire, no holding us back. Josh looking sharp, the face of the scene. Feeling pork chop pants, rocking it clean. Baba Louie in the booth, he's the man with the plan. The best producer in all the land. Gong Show Nation, let's hit the flow. It's the Hockey Cards Gong Show. Let's go, let's go. Wanna say the minute show. So
And why is the carpet all wet, Todd?
I don't know, Margot.